Quisenberry, Will Richardson, and others to make some shots early and often and give the Rams a cushion to work with. Basketball, Mike, is a game of runs. If the Rams can get on one early, they should be set for this one. Also looking specifically at Khalid Moore, was not productive last time out. In 18 minutes of play, he shot 0 of 4 from the field, only collected 4 points on 4 made free throws. He has to be better this time around.
He definitely has to be. And to go back on what you said before, Loyola, like you said, second to last in the scoring. They've been averaging 66.8 points per game, which, and obviously, like you said, they are 3-11 in the conference and 9-17 overall. So if there was a game that you'd want Fordham to bounce back on, this would be the game. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they play.
We mentioned the play of Will Richardson, the T-neck product, last time out. We're all so proud of the freshman here at Fordham. 21 points. You cannot ask him to do that again and carry this offense. Quisenberry has to be better. We know he collected 15 last time out in the loss against VCU. Was not efficient, though. Went 4-9 from the field, only 1 of 4 from downtown. Did make 6 of 7 free throws. But from DQ, I'm looking to him to be more efficient in this one, especially on the road. Get off to a hot start. Get your team in front. You don't want to be playing catch-up on the road. That is a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. I mean, I completely agree. I mean, if you look at Fordham's record away, they're only 5-4 because they played the majority of their games at the historic Rose Hill Gymnasium. But going back to what you said about the shots, despite Fordham being one of the highest scorers in the conference, they have a really poor shot selection. They're 13th in in field goal percentage and then 14th in threes with a measly 0.321 percentage. So despite the fact that they're scoring a lot, they're making a lot of bad shots. And if you're on the road, that crowd is going to be against you. So I completely agree with the fact that, we need the players to step up. They need to make some early shots, get a comfortable lead, because like you said, they're 11-1 when they're leading into the half. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that first half and how it develops.
We've been using the big buzzword of momentum, but I think it reigns true here in that when you get out to an early lead, it allows you to have stretches where you're not being as efficient. It is impossible for a team to be 100% efficient all the way through. That being said, if Fordham can get out to an early start and really play well, they're able to stay ahead, and then the defense will be able to stop Loyola Chicago. Even if they go off and make a couple baskets here or there, Loyola Chicago relies on that three-point shot. I would expect them to do so here. But if you're Fordham, you want to give yourself that little extra cushion. It could make all of the difference. Mike, how do you see this one shaping out real quick before we send it back?
I would say I would expect Fordham to go at the gates flying, especially after the way that they played last game against VCU. So I would expect them to try to build up an early lead. It's basically exactly what you said before. And I would expect Fordham to have a somewhat convincing win.
Should be a fun one. That's going to do it for the one-on-one pregame report with Michael Hernandez. I'm Colin Loughran saying so long. Before we get you out to Sam Davis and Ryan Gregoire with the call from Chi-Town, here's what Fordham head coach Keith Ergo had to say about tonight's matchup.
Sam Davis here with Coach Ergo. Coach, a tough loss against VCU on Saturday. What was the message to the team in the locker room following that one?
Yeah, just nothing changes. We ran into a buzzsaw. They did what we had been doing to teams. That's an incredible environment, and Coach Rhodes, to me, is one of the best coaches in America. He had his team ready to go, and his staff had their team ready to go, and they presented some issues for us. We didn't handle the ball and handle the pressure as well as I thought we might, and that kind of happens. You run into that type of stuff, especially in February. So we need to learn from that, and we did. I think our team came back and responded with an unbelievable film session in practice yesterday, and hopefully we have a tremendous practice today, the day before the game, and we got leaders on this team, and they understand the goal is to get 1% better, and we didn't do a great job, but we did get better because we learned from the experience. So, I'm not too worried about their response. They've been great the last couple of days, and they understand that sort of thing happens. We got to play better. We got to play tougher, and sometimes it's not your night.
In the final stretch of the regular season, how challenging is it for you guys to focus game by game and not look at the conference standings or look at any potential seeding in the tournament? Is there a challenge to not look ahead and really focus on the last 4 games?
Yeah, I think there would be if we didn't have an experienced staff and older guys. There would be more of a challenge, and obviously social media and all the hype. And, we talk about that throughout the year, though. But these guys are really focused on the task at hand. They understand that we're going into a very difficult environment with a team that's playing extremely well. Multiple guys on their team have NCAA tournament experience. They're not going to be nervous or scared. And really, they're playing with house money. You know, I've been in that position. I was at Penn State. They've been getting better and better because Drew is just a phenomenal coach, and you can see that their staff has done a tremendous job staying positive. Every game they've played has been come down to the wire, except for an anomaly against Dayton at home. But they're very difficult, specifically at home in front of a tough crowd, and they're going to be really prepared. And again, they got nothing to lose. So for us, it's just trying to make sure we stay one day at a time. And like you mentioned, so fortunately we got some older guys that have experienced that type of hype before, and they're just so focused on getting better today. And that's the mentality we've got to continue to stress.
Sam Davis with Coach Ergo. Coach, thanks so much.
Thanks so much.
Hey everyone, this is Darius Quisenberry, guard for your Fordham Rams. You can listen to us all season long over on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports, and YouTube Live. WFUV Sports, the flagship station of Fordham Athletics.
Live in Chicago for Wednesday night basketball between the Fordham Rams and the Loyola Chicago Ramblers on WFUV Sports. Welcome into the broadcast. I'm Sam Davis alongside Ryan Gregware. And Ryan, in the words of Fordham head coach Keith Ergo, the Rams ran into a buzzsaw on Saturday in their 19-point loss to VCU, but they need a short memory in this one. With a win here tonight, Fordham can jump into third place in the Atlantic 10 standings.
And it's hard to believe, Sam, that if Fordham won that game, they'd be first place in the A-10 right now. So a massive game. Certainly, you look at it, Fordham didn't play 40 minutes of Fordham basketball. Very uncharacteristic, 22 turnovers, 29 points off those turnovers. They didn't give themselves a chance in that game. A rare effort from this team. You said it, Sam. They need to turn it around right now.
You mentioned those 22 turnovers leading to a 61-80 loss at the Siegel Center against VCU. The lone bright spot in that game for Fordham was Will Richardson, winner of A-10 Rookie of the Week after 21 points versus VCU, 6 of 10 from behind the arc. Ryan, going back to the beginning of the year, Richardson, he was very quiet offensively. He was kind of finding his stride, hitting his stride in Division I basketball, but it's safe to say that the highly touted recruit is playing his best basketball of the year right now.
There's a lot you can say about him, and he asked Coach Ergo, what's his best trait? He said it's work ethic. Elite work ethic from Will Richardson, winning Rookie of the Week in the A-10. Coach Ergo said this is going to be the first time he's won this award. He's been phenomenal throughout this stretch. 66 true shooting percentage the last 2 weeks, 50% from three. He's been phenomenal for Fordham.
Shifting over to Loyola Chicago, while the winning isn't there this year, it certainly has been in years past. Just a year ago, Loyola went 25-8 on their way to their second straight NCAA tournament. They were ranked 22nd in the AP Top 25 poll in January. What happened from then until now? Well, 11 new players on this year's squad. Only 34% of their scoring has returned from last year. You combine that with the toughness and the intensity of the Atlantic 10. It's been a difficult season for the Ramblers.
That's exactly what Coach Ergo talked about. We asked him what he's seen from Loyola Chicago, because this is a team, perennial NCAA tournament team the last 5 years. By joining the A-10 this year, coming over from the Missouri Valley Conference, not everyone's quite used to that physicality. He talked about Khalid Moore early on in his tenure at Fordham. Wasn't quite ready, took him a few games to adapt. Well, for the Ramblers, it's taken a season to really get it going.
A couple of impact players for Loyola Chicago includes the senior guard, Braden Norris. Came into the season as the NCAA leader in career three-point percentage at 44%. He's seen that number dip this year, but is still always a threat from behind the arc. And for the Ramblers' leading scorer, it's Philip Alston, the Division II transfer, who's finding success this year at the Division I level.
He is the perfect example of there's talent everywhere in college basketball. It's not just at the top. You don't have to go just Power 5. We'll get into it in a minute with Loyola Chicago, but they have some Power 5 Big East transfer in Bryce Golden. Well, it's been their D2 transfer, Philip Alston, who's been the most productive of the bunch.
It's been a short series history between Fordham and Loyola Chicago, with the first year being Loyola Chicago in the Atlantic 10 Conference. The series history is tied at 1-1. Fordham won the last meeting all the way back in 2013 at the Rose Hill Gym. Taking a look at the starting lineups first. For the visiting Fordham Rams, it's Will Richardson, Khalid Moore, Darius Quisenberry, the leading scorer for the Rams, Rostik Nowitzki, and Antrell Charlton, their same five. And meanwhile, for the Loyola Chicago Ramblers, it's Jalen Quinn, the freshman guard, number 2. Braden Norris, the senior guard, like I mentioned, number 4. Philip Alston, number 23, the junior forward. Ben Schweiger, the freshman guard, number 33. And Bryce Golden, the graduate center, number 35. And Ryan, before the game, we had Sister Jean come out and offer up a prayer before this one. Really nice seeing her. And a couple of Jesuit universities battling it out here on Ash Wednesday as both teams are out on the court. We're a minute or so away from getting underway here.
And Sam, just a quick story on that is before Sister Jean went, Darius Quisberry runs across the court, gets booed by everybody in attendance, pretty much interrupting her. You know, throughout my time at WFUV, I've seen a lot of cool people. I got to be honest, Sam, I don't know if I've ever been as starstruck as when Sister Jean walked into the arena.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you tapped me on the shoulder. You said, oh my gosh, that's Sister Jean. Yeah, definitely exciting to see her. Pregame here for the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. Both teams out on the court. Fordham in their maroon jerseys on the road with their maroon shorts as well. And meanwhile for Loyola Chicago, it's their white home jerseys with white shorts. Their black and gold letters and numbers on the front and back. Fordham with their white letters and numbers on the front and back. It's going to be Rostic Nowitzki going against Philip Alston at the tip at midcourt here in Chicago. As we are just about ready to get underway. The tip is won by the Fordham Rams, and it's going to be the freshman Will Richardson starting with it over the half-court line for Fordham. He lobs it into the right elbow. It's Nowitzki. Holds it over his head. Nowitzki drives in the lane with the left hand as it blocked. Moore grabs the miss, and he puts up the layup and gets it in.
And in one possession, Khalid Moore, with more field goals than he'd all last time versus VCU. Loyola Chicago will get into it. Doesn't have a true big man. Fordham exploiting that early on.
2-0 Fordham, 19:30 first half. Passing into the near corner, Schweiger thought about a three. Turns it down, passing it right back to Quinn at the left arc. He drives in the lane, dishing it off to Golden. In the right block underneath the basket, puts it up, has it blocked by Nowitzki. Richardson pushing it the other way for Fordham. At the right wing, looking to find Moore, but it's stolen there by Quinn. Good steal there by Jalen Quinn, the freshman for Loyola. He surges ahead, passing it to Olsen at the top of the key. Now it's Norris. Golden holding it at his hip, at the top of the perimeter. Guarded by Moore. Dribbling with the right. Golden. Bounce pass to Quinn. Curling off the screen, finding Golden now at the right block. He puts it up and gets it off the glass and in. We're tied at 2.
Possessions like that are how Loyola Chicago is going to be successful in this one. A great motion set right there. Get Bryce Golden inside on a smaller Fordham body and just let the size go to work.
Richardson will walk this one up for Fordham. High screen for Nowitzki and Moore. Passing it to Moore. Straightaway three, and he gets it to go. Khalid Moore from deep, 5-2 Fordham.
Not something we see every day, and it looks like a little bit of contact as well right there. Khalid Moore with 5 early points, already bouncing back from a tough last game.
18-20 here in the first half. Norris finding a cutting Schweiger, who throws it down with 2 hands. 5-4. Fordham up 1.
And rare undisciplined back-to-back sequences for Fordham. Not something we've seen. You know, this team has been so together for 40 minutes. The intensity is something that you never question, but early on, some laps in the defense.
It's going to be Schweiger at the free throw line. It was the and one on the dunk, giving Loyola an opportunity to tie the game here in the early stages. 18-17 first half. Ben Schweiger, the freshman from Illinois, had 3 points, just 1 of 7 for the field last game against Dayton. The free throw is good. And we're tied at 5. It's going to be Moore inbounding, passing it into Richardson, who will walk it up for the Rams. Richardson dribbling with the right at the top of the key. High screen Nowitzki. Rolling off it, driving all the way in the lane, dishing it off to Nowitzki, but a travel. 5-5, 18:08 first half.
And a good decision there from Will Richardson, getting into the paint, dishing it to his big man. Nowitzki took the steps before the dribble, though, a common mistake that he makes.
Schweiger inbounding underneath his own basket. Fordham opening up with a little bit of full court pressure. But Norris will have the room to bring it up for Loyola over the half court line. Guarded closely by Richardson. Norris drives baseline and a foul. Will Richardson picks that one up, his first, going against the senior guard, Braden Norris.
And back and forth here early on in this one, but Fordham the foul trouble, a big area in last game they really struggled in right there. They were outscored big time from the free throw line, 23 points, something at the limit in this game.
Schweiger lobbing it into Welch, who passing it to Norris at the right wing. Norris curling around a screen. Quinn in the near corner. He drives towards the basket with the right hand, too strong. Welch grabs the miss. He misses the layup. Quinn with another chance. That one falls. 7-5, Loyola up 2, 17-40, first half. Richardson dribbling with the right. At the right wing, high screen Nowitzki, passing it Moore. Moore at the left arc, handing off Quisenberry at that same spot. Quisenberry, jab step, now looks to drive. With the right hand, underneath the basket. Down to the far corner, off the hands of Moore, out of bounds, a turnover for Fordham. 7-5 Loyola, 17-21 first half.
What we've seen early in this game is an extension of that VCU game. Darius Quisenberry, somebody who last time really struggled. You'll look at the 15 points, but 5 turnovers, held the ball a long time on a lot of those possessions. Awkward mismatches there and just throwing that one out of bounds.
Norris looking to bring this up for Loyola. 11 points per game for the three-point shooter. Dribbling in the near corner. Extended left block guarded by Quisenberry. Backing down Quisenberry, but finds Schweiger, cuts right to the basket. And another dunk. 9-5 Loyola up.
And another miscommunication once again. Roskin-Yavitsky losing his defender, cutting from the top of the key, wide open for the dunk.
Quisenberry will pull a deep three, and that one falls. Darius Quisenberry knocks it down. 9-6, 16:50 first half. Quinn the other way, looks to drive baseline. Hop step, puts it up, the floater off the front rim, it rolls in. Make that 11-8. Loyola up by 3, 16:30 first half.
The blow-by ability of Jalen Quinn, being a true freshman, getting into it here. He's shown flashes throughout the year, but he's getting into the paint in a hurry in this game.
Quisenberry lobbing it to Moore, catches it at the left wing. He's going to take a three. That one's offside rim, rebounded by Quinn. Passing it up to head to Norris. Norris, cross-court pass Schweiger in the near corner. Now Welch at the left wing, thought about a three, turned it down. Dribbling with the right, here's Welch. Still pivoting, now he finds Norris. Passing it back down to Welch, cutting towards the basket. Another layup is good. 13-8, under 16 minutes in the first half.
Talked about how Fordham can exploit Loyola's lack of a big man, but they're doing the same thing the Ramblers are because there's nobody that matches up with Roskin-Yavitsky. He's forced to play on the perimeter, and we've seen him get exposed multiple times early in this game.
Quisenberry knocks down a 3-and-1. Coming around a screen at the right wing. Darius Quisenberry, his second three-pointer here. And that'll lead us to our first media timeout. A fast-paced couple of minutes to open this one up. 13-11, Loyola Chicago over the Fordham Rams, 15:48 first half. You're listening to Fordham Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rucco, WFUV class of 2008. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV sports.
Back here on the campus of Loyola Chicago, Sam Davis alongside Ryan Gregory here with WFUV Sports at 13-11. Loyola Chicago up in front of the Fordham Rams, 15:48 in the first half. Taking a look at the coaching staff for Loyola Chicago, it's led by second-year head coach Drew Valentine, the youngest coach in Division I basketball. Valentine is in his 6th year with the program. He's been a part of 3 NCAA tournaments, including a trip to the Final Four in 2018. A young coach who has already accomplished quite a lot for this program.
How about last year's first year with the reins to the team, leads them to the tournament. Youngest coach since 1993 to do that. I know this year has been up and down, but Drew Valentine has shown throughout his professional career he can coach at this level.
And a fast-paced start there. Ryan, giving us a minute to catch our breath here after that first time.
I think you need it, Sam.
13-11 is the score. Fordham 3 for 4, but from behind the arc, including a and one on that three-pointer there from Darius Quisenberry. He's going to be at the free throw line after the teams come out of this timeout.
And not to look at this from a cynical perspective, but it almost, the fact that Fordham shooting 75% from three, and they're currently trailing this game, not good signs. What we've seen from defense, that immediate timeout came at the right time for Fordham because they need some major adjustments on that end of the court.
A lot of open Ramblers driving to the basket there after that first couple of minutes of action. It's going to be Darius Quisenberry at the free throw line, coming off 15 points against VCU last time out. The leading scorer for the Rams, averaging just under 17 points a game. A very good free throw shooter as well, 84% on the season. The free throw, he hits it. which makes it 13-12, 15:48 first half. Norris will bring it up for Loyola. Across the timeline, guarded by Kyle Rose, who's checked into the game. Here's Norris at the left wing, now driving towards the near corner. Bounce pass underneath, it's Alston, blocked by Simbila. Fight for the loose ball. Alston got it back, and he gets it in. 15-12, Loyola up, 15:23 first half.
And Simbila didn't see an original cut, was a bit late to that block attempt, but Alston gets all the credit in the world, getting a rebound over number 30 for Fordham. That's always hard to do.
Quisenberry at the left wing, another three. That one's back iron, no good. Moore tried to tip up the rebound, tries to save it in the far corner. Diving into the seats is Khalid Moore. It looks like he's shaken up a little bit there, grabbing his right hand. That's not a good sign for Fordham, but looks like he's going to be okay.
And Sam, I'm just shocked at this pace that Fordham's playing. At every possession, they're taking up a shot right away here. They are going super fast-paced, more than we're accustomed to, and Khalid Moore playing extremely hard. You hope he's all right.
We don't usually see Fordham play this fast-paced, like you mentioned, Ryan. And Loyola Chicago is not really a team that lights up the stat sheet either. But both teams coming out hot in this one. 15-12 with about 15 minutes here in the first half. Welch will bring it up for the Ramblers. Dribbling with the right. Handing it off Norris. Here's Norris. Dribbling towards the near corner. Driving baseline. Now at the left block. Guarded by Rose. Kicking it out. Schweiger. He lines up a three. Too short. Rose grabs the miss. Passing it up ahead. Quisenberry. Quisenberry surging towards the basket with the right hand. Off the glass is missed, but Simbila tries to get the tip back. Misses it, but gets another shot at it. Now on the right block, spins, puts it up. The hook shot, rolls around and out. Couple of chances there, point blank for Fordham. Can't get it to go. Marquise Kennedy grabs the board for the Ramblers. Cross-court pass Norris. Now Schweiger, left arc three, front rim. Welch flies in, trying to get the rebound there, and him and Quisenberry go to the deck hard. 15-12, 14-21 first half. Loyola in front. That's
an over-the-back five I've ever seen one, Sam. Welch has the size over Quisenberry. Tried to use it to his advantage, but that's an easy call to make.
It's going to be Khalid Moore inbounding underneath his own basket here, as the Rams will go full court here. It's going to be Antrell Charlton bringing it up. Just 2 points for Charlton last game against VCU. Bounce pass to Simbila at the right wing. Handing off Quisenberry, curling off the screen at the right elbow. Jump stop. Bounce pass out to Rose at the right wing. Now down to the right block, Moore. Double team comes, passing out of it. Here's Rose. Rose kicking in the far corner. Charlton fakes a three, drives baseline. Now Rose, left arc three, and he gets it to go. Kyle Rose, we're tied at 15, 13-50 first half.
Kyle Rose has been a lot more aggressive from three these last 5 games, with 3+ attempts in each game, and a great set by Fordham. Found him wide open from the elbow, and he connected.
It's going to be Golden at the top of the key for Loyola. Backing down Quisenberry at the left block. Now in the middle of the paint. The hook shot is good. Mismatch there for Bryce Golden. He takes advantage. 17-15, Loyola up 2.
I'm not sure how Fordham came out of that half-court defense with that opportunity there. And Bryce Golden was on Quisenberry from the jump and took advantage.
Charlton off a couple of screens, and he falls to the ground in a foul going against Jalen Quinn. The freshman guard picks that one up. 13-18 first half. It's going to be Ramad Dean and Patrick Kelly checking in, some subs for Fordham.
Khalid Moore coming out. You remember just a few possessions ago, banging into the Loyola bench hard. You hope he's okay, because in this game, the way that the fast pace is being played, you're going to need him to be 100%.
It's going to be Rose inbounding on the near sideline, passing it into Charlton. Charlton dribbling at the Loyola logo. Through the legs dribble, top of the key. Now passing the far corner, Dean. He's going to try a three, back iron. Rebounded by Quinn. Quinn pushing it the other way for the Ramblers. Here's Golden at the top of the key, holding it over his head. Spins in the paint. Knocked away there and stolen by Rose. Rose pushing it up ahead for Fordham. At the right wing, crossover move. Now handing it back off Charlton. Charlton back to Rose, top of the key, a deep three off the side rim. Loyola will track down the rebound. It's Golden. 17-15, 12-30 in the first half.
And a nice job by Kyle Rose once again. Seemingly every game we talk about him making impact defensively, but unable to connect for a second three.
Offensive foul there as you speak, Ryan. Kyle Rose making an impact defensively, setting the feet there, drawing a charge. Fordham will have it 17-15, Loyola up 2, 12:30 first half.
It's funny, Sam, because we talked about how the Fordham defense has been a bit lackadaisical there. Well, if there's one plug and play to turn it around, it's just putting Kyle Rose in the game. We've seen since he's came in a lot more tight defensively. That IQ that he has on that end of the floor, it's the best on this team.
Stoppage here as the referee is talking with Braden Norris. Norris saying that he got scratched on the neck there, wanting a foul. He's now talking with Drew Valentine on the Loyola bench. Little stoppage in play here. 17-15, 12:30 first half. Loyola up 2. Now Pat Kelly will inbound on the near sideline. Passing it into Charlton, who will walk it up for the Rams. Charlton over the timeline. High screen Simbila at the left arc, driving towards the corner, and he stepped out of bounds. Charlton pushed out of bounds there by Golden. Good defense from the Ramblers. They take over.
A nice shot by the Ramblers. They brought 2 defenders there, pushed Charlton. He had nowhere to go with the basketball, tiptoeing that sideline, and it went against him.
It's going to be Schweiger inbounding right next to his bench on the far sideline. Passing it into Quinn. Quinn over half court for Loyola. Guarded by Charlton. Bounce pass knocked away there for a moment, but gotten to Norris at the top of the key. Norris holding it at his hip. Guarded by Simbila, and a foul on the floor. Going against Abdu Simbila, his first. 17-15, 12:09 first half. Loyola still up 2.
Once again, you're seeing the Ramblers with this level of motion here that's forcing Fordham bigs out wide there. There's no reason Abdu Simbila should ever be on Jalen Quinn, 6'3", 185.
Definitely a mismatch there at the top of the key. These referees. Another brief stoppage here, but it's going to be Schweiger inbounding now on the far sideline, now at the Fordham Rams bench. Schweiger looking to pass it in. Still looking, now finds Alston. Alston at the top of the key. Here's Norris at the left arc. Norris driving baseline, guarded by Rose. Norris backing down Rose in the left block underneath the basket. Has his shot sent into the seats by Kyle Rose. And that's going to lead to another media timeout. 17-15, Loyola Chicago up 2 over the Fordham Rams. 11:57 in the first half. Let's go back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Michael Hernandez.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Earlier today, there was a plethora of A-10 games. At the top of the conference, Dayton defeated UMass in a convincing fashion, winning 72-54. LaSalle fell to Duquesne by the score of 91-74, while Davidson beat the St. Bonaventure Bonnies with a scoreline of 74-61. URI and George Washington played out an overtime thriller, with the Colonials beating the Rams by a score of 89-80. Turning our attention to national hoops, Houston, the number 1 ranked school in the country, hosts Tulane. That game is currently tied at 7 with 15:59 to go in the first half. Second-ranked Alabama goes on the road as they face off against South Carolina. The Crimson Tide are currently leading that one 7-6 with 15:41 left in the first half. Earlier today, 6th-ranked Virginia was upset by Boston College, the Eagles stunning Virginia by the score of 63-48. 18th-seed University of Connecticut hosted the 20th-seed Providence in a top 25 clash. The Connecticut Huskies beat the Friars by 18 points in an 87-69 win. And for the one-on-one scoreboard, this is Michael Hernandez.
Welcome back to Loyola Chicago here between the Fordham Rams and the Ramblers of Loyola Chicago. 17-15. Loyola Chicago up to 11:55 in the first half. And looking at the stats here for both sides, Loyola shooting 53% from the field, coming out red hot. And Ryan, a lot of those points there coming off defensive mishaps for Fordham.
That's what's jarring to me, because this Loyola team, they're 14th in the conference in points per game. They're not particularly an offense that'll light you up. You look early in this game, they're on pace around 85 points, and these points are coming very easy. It's not like they're hitting shot after shot in defenders' face. No, it's getting guys open into the paint on cuts. Fordham losing their defender, something we have not seen from this Rams defense early this season.
Fordham has taken 13 field goals in this game. 8 of them have been from behind the arc. Not a team that typically shoots the three ball very well. They're near the bottom of the conference in terms of three-point shooting percentage. But they're shooting a lot of threes here tonight in this one.
That's what's keeping them in this game. And despite being 14th in the conference in attempts, they're fourth in, going for the three. So despite not being efficient, they're always going to shoot them. And in this game, it's been better than not beyond the arc.
Fordham is a team that believes in quantity of shots. Loyola Chicago a little more patient with their looks. That's going to be Braden Norris inbounding underneath his basket here on the baseline for Loyola. Lobs it into Alston. Alston driving towards the basket. Tried to throw it down over Moore, but he's fouled. And will go to the free throw line. Philip Alston looking to score here for the first time today.
That's a scouting report on Alston. He'll blow by the defender. He will take it from the wing all the way inside, and if you're not ready for it, he's going to make you pay.
Alston had 16 points last game against Dayton, a game that Loyola Chicago lost. 65-49 was the final in that one. That's the first free throw from Alston falls. 68% shooter from the line on the year.
And he's showing you really, the Ramblers overall, that they have the talent. This has been a team that's disappointed, but make no mistake, they have the pieces in place. It just hasn't really worked out, but they're getting better every game. You take away the Dayton anomaly blowout last time out that took Dayton to overtime on the road. So despite having 3 wins in this conference, Loyola is not going to be an easy task for them, as they've proven this first 9 minutes.
Second free throw is off the back iron. 18-15, Loyola up by 3, 11-40 in the first half. Rose trying to find Gray in the paint, passing around a defender, but threw it beyond the outstretched arms of Elijah Gray, out of bounds, and a turnover for the Rams.
Seems like that's been the story of the game. Gray had the inside position, and easy too if Rose can find it, but once again, Fordham unable to capitalize.
It's going to be Quinn bringing it up for Loyola. 18-15, Ramblers up 3. Quinn passing it to Alston at the left wing. Driving, baseline, spins at the right block, puts it up, has it knocked out of his hands by Gray, gets it back, fighting for it on the ground, passing it away to Welch in the far corner. And Welch travels. So a turnover for Loyola. They give it right back to the Rams.
Feisty defense from the Rams right there, really forcing Loyola out of position, and Welch stepped out on the baseline. Fordham will absolutely take that.
18-15, Loyola up 3, 11-18 in the first half. Richardson will bring it up for Fordham. Calling out the play from the top of the key, lobs it to Gray at the right wing. And he's fouled there, bumped by Braden Norris. That's Loyola's 16th foul, with 11:11 on the clock here in the first half. The Ramblers up 3.
And with Fordham just having 1 free throw attempt in this one, that's a way this game can swing in their favor. We know they're leading the conference in free throw percentage in that situation, so if they can get to the line and get there early, it can only do them good.
Rose passing it in the near sideline, lobs it to Richardson, who has it at the top of the key. Here's Richardson. Bounce pass Moore at the extended left elbow. Holds it over his head. Tries to find Richardson, but it's deflected away and stolen. Kennedy has it for Loyola, pushing it the other way. At the right wing. Passing it to Alston at the top of the key. Jab step by Alston. Spinning at the A10 logo. Now kicks it back out Kennedy at the top of the key. Kennedy, crossover dribble. Working on Gray. With the left hand, loses possession of the ball as he went up for it. Gray comes up with it for Fordham. Here's Richardson, near corner 3, in and out. Gray grabs the board. He looks to put it up, but it rolls off of his hands, out of bounds, and Fordham will lose possession there. Loyola will have it 18-15, 10-28 first half.
When Will Richardson's that open, you almost expect the ball to go in. Great job from Fordham pushing it in transition. Khalid Moore finding him from the elbow, but he was unable to capitalize.
Will Richardson, a 43% three-point shooter, 3rd in the A10 from behind the arc, but couldn't get that one to go. Fordham has not scored a basket in the last 3.5 minutes, so their offense has slowed down in the last couple of minutes for the Rams. Kennedy will walk it up for Loyola. Over half court. Dribbling with the right at the top of the key. Kennedy. Now at the right wing, Schweiger at the top of the perimeter. Schweiger, jab step. Behind the back dribble. Driving towards the right block. Spins. Guarded closely there by Rose. Back iron. Rebounded there. And a foul coming on the floor. It's going to go against Elijah Gray. And an offensive rebound there for Loyola. 10:06 first half, 18-15, they're up.
Giving them another possession. Kyle Rose with fantastic defense on Ben Schweiger down to the paint. A crafty move inside. That's what Schweiger likes to do, but fortunately for Loyola, they get the ball right back.
Schweiger inbounding underneath his basket. Lobbing it into Welch, who has it at the left wing. Welch dribbling with the right. Backing down Gray. Welch. Bounce pass is knocked away there, but Kennedy gets it back. Passing to the far corner. Welch is open for three off the side rim. Rebound is deflected off of Elijah Gray, out of bounds. Loyola with another opportunity here.
All these opportunities not without a lack of effort from Fordham. You see Khalid Moore diving onto the floor, creating a 4-on-5. Fordham with good closeout defense, just 3 defenders. Ball was tipped in the air, and Loyola gets a fortunate break on the bounce.
Passing it into Alston in the right block, and his layup falls. 20-15, Loyola up 5, 9:40 in the first half.
All things going the Ramblers' way. Elijah Gray with fantastic defense right there. Alton just rise to the occasion to get it in.
Richardson at the top of the key. Physical play there as Gray set a screen, and Jalen Quinn fell to the ground. It's going to be a foul against Loyola. Make that their 16th foul. With 9:33 left in this first half, Loyola up 5, 20-15. Jamira Wilson will come in for Loyola. The graduate. Transfer from Lehigh. Quisenberry has it at the top of the key. The double team comes. He passes it into the far corner. Riley, he drives baseline underneath the basket. Has his shot blocked by Schweiger. Passing Quisenberry, another chance there from the right arc for three off the front rim. Alston the other way for Loyola. Passing it up ahead, it's Wilson at the left wing. Here's Wilson. Passing it to Welch in the near corner. Welch, guarded by Riley at the A-10 logo at the free throw line. Spinning in the paint. Fadeaway jumper, way too short. Rebound there, Quisenberry is able to collect it. He'll push it for Fordham. Quisenberry. Hesitation move at the right block, now passing it out to Riley. Into the far corner, Richardson. Now back to Quisenberry. Moore. Passing to far corner, Riley. Off a couple of screens, driving in the lane. Kicks it out. Elijah Gray, left arc three. Back iron. Rebounded by Kennedy. 20-15. Loyola up 5, 8:30 first half.
These last two possessions, as good a look so you could ask for Fordham. It looks like, the correction to the mean from beyond the arc. Fordham missing their last 4 attempts.
Kennedy passing it to Alston at the top of the key. Now it's Schweiger at the right wing. Welch into the near corner. It's Wilson. Wilson at the left wing now. Passing Alston top of the key. Now Schweiger right at that same position at the point. He splits the lane, loses control of the ball, and it's picked up here by Fordham. Quisenberry the other way at the right wing. Through the legs dribble. He'll back it out now. Under 8 minutes in the first half. Coming off a screen, driving all the way to the basket, and he's fouled. Darius Quisenberry will be at the line when we come back. Loyola Chicago up 20-15 over Fordham. You're listening to Fordham Rams basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Michael Kay, WFUV class of 1982. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One on One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Back here for Fordham basketball with WFUV Sports. Sam Davis alongside Ryan Gregoire. Loyola Chicago up 20-15 over the Fordham Rams with 7:55 left here in the first half. And Ryan, we've seen Fordham defensively make adjustments since the previous media timeout, but offensively they haven't scored a basket in 6 minutes. Tough to get back into a game when that's the case.
And how about overall in this game, just 1 for 7 from 2. Now, they've made 4 threes, and that's the only reason this is still a game, but you have to be able to convert on those 2-point attempts. That has to be what the high percentage is. The 3 can be low, but it's been the opposite in this one. Fordham really struggling. 1 for their last 12 overall, getting the ball in the basket.
28% from the field as a whole for Fordham. Like you mentioned, struggling as of late. Loyola Chicago came out of the gates red hot. They're now shooting 45%. And you expect Loyola to kind of regress towards the mean for them, as not really putting up any massive numbers. But Ryan, what does Fordham have to do to try and get some baskets here and find themselves back in this game?
They have to slow the ball down on offense and get the ball inside. We've talked about something that Fordham should look to exploit is the lack of big men from Loyola Chicago. They haven't done that at all. They've been playing super fast pace. If you can find Deuce Beal or Ross Nowitzki into the paint, it'll make your job so much easier. Get free buckets. You can't count on threes day in and day out. That's what's led to the struggles, and you have to find ways to attack the interior.
We've seen it at a numerous number of times this year. When Fordham gets into a three-point shooting contest, they find themselves on the wrong side of things. That's not their game. That's not what they do best.
What's funny about this one, it's not a three-point contest because Loyola hasn't made one. They're 0 for 3. It's Fordham taking threes, not making twos, and Loyola making all their twos.
It's going to be Quisenberry at the line for Fordham. Shooting 2 shots. As the fans make some noise here. The first free throw rolls in for Darius Quisenberry.
And I really liked his play before that media timeout to attack the hole, get to the free throw line, give Fordham some relief on the offensive side of the floor, because what he does best at the end of the day is shooting free throws.
Second shot is up and good as well. 20-17, Loyola up 3, 7:54 in the first half. Kennedy inbounding, passing it in to Norris, who brings it up for the Ramblers. Through the legs dribble, over the timeline, into the near corner. Norris, guarded by Quisenberry. The extended left block. Bounce pass to a cutting Golden, up and under. The layup is good for Bryce Golden, 22-17.
That's a Big East move right there. Bryce Golden, definitely a disappointment in terms of what you looked at last year at Butler compared to this year, but you see moves like that, he's still got his game.
Charlton, the double team comes against him. He passes it out to Moore in the far corner. Now a bounce pass to Simbila at the left block. Simbila going to work. Spinning on Golden. Puts it up with the right hand. The floater is good. 22-19, 7-11 first half.
It's plays like that I'm talking about, Sam, because that's a size advantage that Deuce Beal has, and he's aggressive towards the basket, something we haven't seen recently, and you see why right there. It'll work.
Loyola up 3, under 7 minutes here in the first half. It's Norris once again in the near corner. Dribbling with the right, passing it out to Edwards, passing it to Kennedy. It's Wilson at the right wing. Now it's Edwards in the far corner. Off a couple of screens. At the top of the key now, Edwards, passing it to Wilson. Skip pass over to Kennedy at the left wing. Splitting the lane, and the shot clock expires there. Good defense there from Fordham. 22-19, Loyola up 3, 6:38 first half.
There was never a moment in that possession that Loyola was close to taking a shot, and when you can do that, if you're Fordham, you're going to feel good about your chances.
Charlton will bring it up for Fordham. Rams trailing by 3. They've trailed the majority of this first half. 6:30 in this first half remaining. Bounce pass here to Quisenberry, who pivots at the left elbow. Now finding Riley. Now it's Charlton in the near corner. He's open for 3 off back rim. Simbila able to grab the offensive rebound. And a foul. That's going to go against Loyola. So an offensive rebound, a second chance opportunity for Fordham.
Simbila's physicality always jumps off the court, but how about his athleticism? He can rise up. You see the 6'9", 245, well, he can really jump, rising to the occasion right there, keeping the possession alive for Fordham. More importantly, Sam, getting Fordham into the bonus.
Simbila will be at the free throw line. Like you mentioned, the Rams in the bonus here with still 6:19 remaining in the first half. As Fordham looking to cut into the Loyola lead. The first free throw rolls in. He'll have one more. Fordham trailing by 2, 22-20.
Another valuable skill set of Simbila, shooting 70% from the free throw line for a big man in this conference. That's not something you see every day.
Simbila had 3 blocks in that last game against VCU. Guy is tied for first in the A-10 in blocks per game. Second free throw is also good. So a 1-point deficit now for the Fordham Rams, 22-21. 6:15 first half. Norris will bring it up for Loyola. At the left wing, Norris dribbling with the right. Bounce pass finding Schweiger, who goes up strong, and a foul. Another cut to the basket there for Loyola, and another chance here for them at the free throw line.
And with Fordham kind of taking this game back a little bit, it makes sense for Loyola to go with what worked for them so much early on in this game. And now Schweiger heads to the free throw line with a chance to silence the Rams' momentum.
Ben Schweiger, the freshman, at the line. 22 starts in 26 games this season, averaging just under 10 points per game. The first free throw is off the side of the rim. With Loyola up 1, 22-21, 6:05 first half. Schweiger is awaiting his second free throw. With Fordham into the bonus in this one. Next foul that Fordham commits will put Loyola into the bonus as well.
Even more of a reason, though, for Sam that they're in the bonus to really attack inside, get the free throw and get the whistle on your side to cut this deficit.
Second free throw rolls in as well. 23-21, Loyola up 2, under 6 minutes here remaining in the first half. Bounce pass to Simbila at the top of the key. Handing it off Quisenberry. Jab step. Drives towards the lane and is fouled. That one's going to be on the floor, but the Rams will be at the free throw line, as looks like Kennedy took a spill to the ground, but he's up and looks like he'll be all right.
A very good pick and roll set right there with Simbila and Quisenberry. Quisenberry had to step inside, was going to the rack, and Kennedy was forced to just hold him there.
Quisenberry with 9 points in the early going here in the first half. He's leading all scorers. Darius Quisenberry now at the free throw line. The first shot, first part of the 1-and-1 is good. He'll have one more with a chance for Fordham to tie this one up. 23-22. They trail by 1, 5:52 first half. Quisenberry spinning the basketball. Second free throw is good as well. And we're tied up at 23. 5:52 left in the first half. It's going to be Norris bringing it up here. Rose hounding him, but a cross-court pass to Golden, who goes up and has his shot blocked by Simbila. Quisenberry the other way, driving underneath the basket, passing into the corner. Rose, now Moore at the left arc for 3, off the front of the rim. Rebounded there by Alston. 23-23, 5:30 first half. Golden at the top of the key. Passing it to Norris. Norris at the left wing. Passing it Alston now. Swinging it along here, Schweiger at the top of the key. Now Golden at the left arc, lobbing it into the paint. Alston goes up and grabs it and gets the layup off the glass and in. 25-23, Loyola regains the lead, 5 minutes first half.
Talk about a 50-50 ball with Olsen and Charlton inside. Olsen has the size advantage just barely, and it showed, snatching that one and putting it back in.
Charlton dribbling at the right arc. A little bit of a zone, matchup zone here for Loyola. Passing into the far corner. It's Rose for 3. Knocks it down. Kyle Rose gives Fordham the lead. 26-25, 4:45 first half.
Their first lead in 13 minutes, and it comes with Kyle Rose draining his second 3 of the game.
Schweiger driving towards the lane all the way to the basket, but dumps it off to Golden, who was not ready for it. It falls on the deck, and Charlton comes up with it for Fordham. Quisenberry the other way, lobbing it to Simbila, the two-handed flush. Abdou Simbila throws it down, 28-25. Fordham up 3, 4:27 first half, and it looks like Drew Valentine wants to talk it over with his team as a timeout is called on the floor.
Well, this game's turned, and Fordham doing it similar to how they did early, pushing the pace. They're going fast up the court. You see full court defense. It's led into getting offense in transition game where they really thrive. You see Darius Quisenberry, excellent court vision, throwing it to Simbila, slamming it down.
It's like there was some confusion there, whether there was a timeout or there wasn't. Turns out now there is, so both teams will meet at their respective sidelines. And Ryan, we saw an impressive play of physicality from Abdou Simbila as it was Bryce Golden wide open underneath the basket, a cross-court pass for Loyola. He was able to track it down, get the block, and that really flipped the momentum for Fordham.
Was ready to talk about some of the negatives with bringing that full court pressure is giving the Ramblers easy chance at 2 points. It looks like that was getting set up, but Simbila, who can move so well for his size, gets there, swats it from behind, and that really turned things around for Fordham. They pushed it the other way. They scored on their opportunity. Kyle Rose drained a 3, and all of a sudden, the Ramblers were forced to call a timeout.
Simbila with 2 blocks here in the early going here in the first half. Darius Quisenberry leading the Rams, scoring with 11 points. He's 5 for 5 from the free throw line as well. For Loyola Chicago, it's much more even, as it's 6 points for Ben Schweiger, 6 points for Bryce Golden as well, and 5 points for Philip Alston. As Loyola has found some success in the paint, especially with Golden and Schweiger, who have done a really nice job cutting to the basket, driving to the basket, really creating open opportunities for them moving off the ball.
That seems to be where Fordham's tried to neutralize it, because when you bring that full court pressure, you're not going to have those opportunities to run motion the same way you are in a half-court style of defense, and you give Fordham credit. That's what they saw on film, and it looks like that's been the big swing in this game.
Bryce Golden, the transfer from Butler, played 104 games for them over the course of 4 years. Staying in the A-10 as his brother, Grant Golden, second among Richmond Spiders' all-time leading scorers. So there's been a Golden in the A-10 for a number of years now. As it's 28-25, Fordham up 3 over Loyola Chicago here at this timeout. And Ryan, if you're Fordham, how do you keep the foot on the gas over the next 4 minutes? You got the lead, but now it's about maintaining that lead, something that they really haven't had for the entire first half.
You play just as hard. We know Fordham, they're comfortable playing from behind, but you'd rather always play with the lead in college basketball sense. So I think he's played the same style. You force Loyola to give you different looks with that full court press. But on the offensive side of the floor, it's continuing to get it inside. We've seen Simbila now up to 6 points in this game, really attacking inside. I'd be shocked if they went away from that. He seems to be the go-to big man in this game.
Another positive sign for Fordham is, as a team, 7 for 7 from the line, 100% shooting from the free throw line so far here in the first half. A team that shoots from the line very well. One of the leaders in the A-10. They're going to have a lot of opportunities over the next 4.5 minutes to get to the line some more, as they're in the bonus.
Critical that they got the bonus, because when you make mistakes against Fordham, they're going to burn you. That's been one of the reasons they're so successful fighting for this double bye. They might not have as much talent as the top end in this conference, but they're gritty. They're going to grind you out over 40 minutes, and a lot of that is winning the foul battle.
Norris passing it across half court for Loyola's. We're back underway. It's going to be Norris now at the top of the key, holding on to it. Dribbling with the left. Here's Norris going towards the near corner. Has it poked away from Rose, but gets it back. Bounce past Schweiger. He tries a 3 off the front of the rim. Rose grabs the rebound.
And you can't help but notice when Kyle Rose is playing defense, he just sticks on you like glue. Braden Norris has not had one opportunity to even get a look with him defended by Rose.
Here's Moore in the far corner for Fordham. Now at the left wing, bounce pass underneath the basket, Simbila. He spins at the left block, goes up with the right hand, too strong with the baby hook. 28-25, 3:30 first half. It's Quinn driving towards the basket with the right hand. Charlton will advance it over half court for Fordham. 28-27. Fordham now up 1. 3:15 first half. Simbila at the top of the key, handing it off. Quisenberry at the left wing. Quisenberry is fouled. Quinn will pick that one up. Another foul for the freshman, which will send Darius Quisenberry back to the free throw line. A bad foul for Loyola. Quisenberry's been red hot from the line so far in this first half.
Anytime you foul Quisenberry, it's a bad foul, and it's even worse when you're in the bonus, like Fordham is right now. So for Fordham to come out of that, get these free opportunities when you're already 7 for 7, it's invaluable. It's why they were able to cut this deficit. Because you look at the shooting split, still just 33% in the game, and they haven't been hitting the 3 ball at that same rate as earlier. But because now 8 for 8 with that Quisenberry free throw, they've been able to take the lead.
The first shot from Quisenberry is good, which makes it 29-27. 3:12 remaining in the first half. Fordham up 2. Quisenberry at the line for one more. Second shot off the front rim, the first miss of the day for DQ from the free throw line, and the first miss from the free throw line for the team today. As Norris has it at the top of the key. Double team comes, trying to split his way through it, and this time a foul. It's going to go against Kyle Rose, picking that one up.
Rose just lost his balance right there, sticking to Norris as tight as he has been all game, but a nice pump fake from Norris, get him in the air, draw the contact, and now Loyola on the other end, they'll head to the free throw line.
Like you mentioned, Braden Norris, just one field goal attempt so far today at 0 points.
I believe that came before Kyle Rose came to the game, not a starter for Fordham, and since he's been in the game, he's just locked Norris up.
Norris now at the free throw line. The first shot is good from the charity stripe. He does have 4 assists so far in this one. The guy who was Missouri Valley Conference third team last year was shot 43% from behind the arc last season for Loyola. Had 14 points against Ohio State in the NCAA tournament a year ago. The second free throw rattles around and in. It's 29-29. We're back tied up. Under 3 minutes now remaining in the first half. Quisenberry over the timeline, dribbling with the right at the top of the key. Now at the right wing, steps into a long two, too short. Rebounded by Schweiger. Norris passing it up the head to Alston. He steps into a three, and he gets it to go. 32-29, Loyola up 3, 2:30 first half.
The biggest issue for Fordham that we've seen this year is when they miss threes like that, it allows the opponent to push it in transition. Not Fordham's strong suit defensively. Loyola was able to get a wide open look with Alston from beyond the arc, making the Rams pay.
Quisenberry coughs it up the other way. He's driving into the paint. He turns it over. Norris at the left wing for 3 off the front rim. Moore grabs the miss. Passing it to Charlton at the left wing. Now it's Moore at the top of the key and Rose at the right wing. Now 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Rose at the right elbow. Bounce pass underneath the basket. Charlton passing it Quisenberry left wing. Quisenberry with the right hand. Hangs in the air. Misses the layup. Gets his own miss though. Fighting underneath the basket. He'll now pass it out to Charlton, who will slow it down at the top of the key. 32-29. Loyola up 3. Charlton passing it to Moore. Moore tries a 3 at the left arc. In and out. Rebounded by Norris. Here's Norris for Loyola. The Ramblers look to build on their lead. They're up 3 with 1:30 remaining in the first half. Lobbing it into the paint, it's Alston, and a foul on the floor going against Khalid Moore.
Alston got good inside position on Khalid Moore. Moore holds him right there, going for the inbound pass inside, and the ref saw it right there. Loyola, they've done a good job here of forcing Fordham out of that momentum. Fordham hasn't scored a field goal in the last 3 minutes of the game as Loyola's taken over this game once again.
Philip Alston at the free throw line, the leading scorer for Loyola. The D2 transfer. 32-29 our score. The first free throw is good. 1:33 left in the first half. Alston awaiting his second free throw. Fordham almost 3 minutes without a basket once again. Alston spinning the basketball. Puts this one up. That one's good as well. 34-29. Loyola up 5, 1:33 remaining in the first half.
And Will Richardson bringing this ball up the court. Just one shot taken in this game. You figure you want to get right back to the game. It's finally Will Richardson an open look.
Elijah Gray having it at the top of the key. He drives towards the left block, puts it up with the left hand off the glass and in. An impressive basket from the freshman Gray. 34-31. Fordham trailing by 3, 1:15 in the first half.
Gray coming off a struggle last game, just 1 for 8 versus VCU, but keeping that aggressiveness, attacking inside. That's what you want to see with a freshman.
Kennedy and Quisenberry is able to get his hand in the way of the passing lane for the steal. He goes up, double coverage, misses the layup there, but it's tipped back out to Moore at the right wing. Moore spinning into the lane, and he's fouled. So a good steal there by Quisenberry, and Fordham is able to draw some more contact, head to the free throw line. They trail by 3, 34-31, under a minute remaining in the first half.
The unsung hero of that possession, Zantrell Charlton, getting dirty in the paint right there, fighting, putting his body on the line, tipping it back out to Khalid Moore. He drives inside, he goes to the line, saving possessions like that, getting second opportunities, especially after getting a turnover. That's how Fordham has been so successful throughout this season.
That's why Darius Quisenberry is the leader for the Rams, able to get things done not only offensively but also on the defensive side of the ball. That's the identity of this Fordham team. That's going to be Khalid Moore at the free throw line. He's 5 points today, 2 in the field. First free throw rolls out. It's no good. 34-31, Fordham trailing by 3. 53.7 seconds left in the first half. Second free throw from Moore. That one's good. 34-32.
Can't help but notice Khalid Moore waving his right hand during that possession. The same hand he banged into the Loyola bench earlier, so the health of that hand is going to be a big theme throughout this game.
Loyola is able to advance it over half court, and then they're going to call a timeout here with 46.8 seconds remaining in the first half. Loyola Chicago up 2, 34-32. As we'll have a timeout here, and Ryan, overall in the last 45 seconds, Fordham, it looks like, is going to have to get a stop and then maybe have a chance to tie or take the lead before halftime.
It'd be nice from Fordham's perspective to get the momentum, at least tie this game headed back into halftime, because it seemed like Fordham was going to take this game over for a bit, Sam. Coming out of that timeout, they had all the momentum, pushing it up and down the court for Loyola, really stifling their attack, doing it on the defensive end of the floor, not letting Fordham get that lead to in front. Now, it's been back and forth throughout, so it'll be important for Fordham to get a stop, try to get a score, and get the momentum heading into half.
Both teams back out on the court for the final 45 seconds here in the first half. It's going to be Schweiger inbounding on the far sideline. Looks to pass it in. Finding Norris. Here's Norris. Advancing it over half court. The double team comes here in the near corner. He's met with it. Charlton and Moore swarming Norris, passing it away to Alston. Finding Golden underneath the basket, who gets an easy layup. 36-32, Loyola up 4. And it looks like Fordham will now call a timeout with 26.5 left in the first half and 26 seconds on the shot clock, so just 0.5 seconds separating the two. Fordham will have the last shot here of this first half, trailing by 4.
Well, then you get the stop that we talked about, Sam, and Olsen with a fantastic decision. Fordham's bringing doubles, bringing traps all throughout that possession. He dumped it inside the Golden, up to get a nice, easy tip before Fordham defenders could get to there. And it's possessions like that that have shown real pressiness from Loyola Chicago. You'd think when you're 3-11 in the conference this late in the year, a team would give up, but no, they are playing hard. A testament to the coaching and a testament to the culture the Ramblers have built.
And Ryan, that shows the difficulty of playing in the A-10. You really got to bring your A game night in and night out. Doesn't matter who you're playing, especially on the road like this. As Fordham will walk their way back out onto the court with 26.5 left here in the first half. Trailing by 4, 36-32. Charlton inbounding on the far sideline, passing it into Richardson. Wilson will waste some time here as the clock runs down to 15 seconds. And now it'll run down to about 10 remaining here in the first half. Richardson passing to Quisenberry left arc. Quisenberry high screen, Gray coming off of it. Passing into the far corner, Moore. He takes a 3 and he gets it to go. Khalid Moore knocks down the triple. And that will lead us to halftime. 36-35, Fordham trailing by 1 against Loyola Chicago. Let's go back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one halftime report with Colin Lochran.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Hello and welcome to the one-on-one halftime report. The Fordham Rams trail the Loyola Ramblers by a score of 36-35. Along with Michael Hernandez, I'm Colin Lochran, here to break down the first half of action and preview what the second act could have in store. This one started out fast and loose. Loyola Chicago was flying all over the court, making beautiful cuts to the bucket. Fordham was aided by a team-high 12 first-half points from Darius Quisenberry, but Loyola Chicago brought just a bit more energy. Before we go more in-depth, though, here's Michael Hernandez with the one-on-one scoreboard.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Earlier today, Fordham's women's basketball team beat the University of Rhode Island in an overtime thriller at the Rose Hill Gym, with Anna DeWolf hitting a buzzer-beater three-point shot to win 74-73. As we turn our attention to national hoops, Houston, the number 1 ranked school in the country, hosts Tulane. Houston is currently leading that game 35-18 with 3:58 to go in the first half. Second-ranked Alabama are also in play today as they go on the road as they face off against South Carolina. The Crimson Tide are currently losing that 29-25 with 3:30 left in the first half. In the world of soccer, earlier today in the UEFA Champions League, Manchester City drew with RB Leipzig 1-1 in the first leg of their round of 16 tie. In the other matchup today, Inter hosted Porto for their first leg. Inter broke the deadlock in the final 5 minutes with its super sub Romelu Lukaku, who scored in the 86th minute to give Inter a narrow 1-0 victory. Last but certainly not least, the U.S. women's national team won the She Believes Cup, defeating Brazil 2-1 to collect the trophy for the 4th consecutive time and 6th time overall. For the 101 Scoreboard, this is Michael Hernandez.
I do want to take a moment to congratulate Fordham Women's Hoops on their giant win against URI earlier this evening. Senior guard Anna DeWolf drained a wicked three-pointer at the buzzer to cement a 74-73 win at Rose Thrill. Major props to the women's team. They deserve all the credit in the world for their performance this evening against what was the A-10's second-place team. But, Michael, the men, they're busy in the Windy City. They've bounced back from what was somewhat of a slow start. Still not good enough, though. They trail by 1 point at half. We talked about it a little bit in our pregame show. Fordham 11-1 when they lead at the half, as opposed to only 8-5 when they trail at the half. Not the start the Rams were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, especially as we said in the pregame, when you lose to VCU, you definitely want to use this as a bounce-back game. And the start wasn't that great, but now it's only a 1 point game, so Fordham have a really good chance of winning this one.
Want to talk about some of the team comparisons at play here. Loyola Chicago shooting 50% from the field. That is a recipe for success. 14 of 28. Fordham, on the other hand, 10 of 30, good for 33%. Here's the interesting wrinkle in that, though. Fordham shooting better from behind the arc, 38% as opposed to Loyola Chicago's 17%. A big reason for that, the play of Darius Quisenberry, only 2 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from behind the arc. So tonight, one of those rare occurrences when Fordham is hitting their shots from downtown. Not a three-point team by any stretch of the imagination, but does that change how you look at the second half going forward? I'd imagine it does if you're Keith Ergo. If your guys have the hot hand, you got to let them go out there and shoot the ball, hope it goes in the bucket.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially when you're behind, and if you are shooting that well from beyond the 3-point, as you said, a 37% compared to Loyola's 1 for 6. So that's a clear way that Ergo can tell his team and how to perform. But it all depends on how they perform out of the gates for this second half. Because if they have a slow start as they did in the first a couple of minutes, this may be a rough one for them.
Bryce Golden, the leading scorer for Loyola of Chicago, he's made 4 of his last shots, 4 of 5 from the field on the day, good for 8 points. Something to look for as we head into the second half as well. Sam and Ryan mentioned it on the call. These Ramblers, they don't have a pure center. They are a smaller team at the collegiate level, yet somehow, some way, they're out rebounding the Rams by a mark of 19-16. That cannot happen if you're the Rams. You need Simbila, you need Kyle Rose, you need Antrell Charlton to get in there, grab some gritty buckets, and get yourself set defensively. You cannot afford to have this much of a disadvantage against a smaller team like Loyola.
Yeah, I mean, it's simply unacceptable for Fordham to be out-rebounded by a team that doesn't have a proper center. It's like you said, 19-16. Loyola has 13 defensive rebounds to Fordham's 8. Fordham does have more offensive rebounds, 8-6, but the point is you need to be picking up those rebounds and getting more second chance points when you're on offense, and when you're on defense, just don't let them get those second chance points. And if they can do that, then we can definitely see Fordham win this game.
Mike, we've talked a lot about numbers and stats, and of course those things lead us to certain conclusions in sports, but this Fordham team has been marked as a second half team, especially as of late. I mentioned Rose Thrill when talking about the women's team. We've seen that with the men's team as well, where when they're home, we know that once the second half comes, they are a different beast altogether. I don't know if I have that same level of confidence heading into the second half on the road, especially in an environment like Loyola Chicago. They have the power of Sister Jean on their side. Fordham maybe not in the best position right now. Fortunate to cut that deficit to 1 and try and stay within themselves, as this one almost got out of hand earlier. But you don't like where you are. This was the type of game where you needed a hot start, as we mentioned in our pregame show. I just want to get your thoughts here. Can this be a second half team on the road? This is their chance to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, when you're at the Rose Hill Gym, you're like, okay, they have the home fans, they're going to use that energy and get that win. But when you're on the road, it's a completely different game. You are in hostile territory, I guess you could say. And, when the crowd isn't on your side, that may affect them. So this is the key. Can they ignore that and just focus on what they need to do, which is make shots and be good on defense?
I think it was definitely important that Fordham went on a little bit of a run towards the end of that first half, because without that, who knows how many points they're down by now. And in that case, you're really not liking your chances heading into that final half of action. I look at what's going on here with these Rams this year as a whole. You love where you are in terms of a program perspective, but
oh yeah, definitely.
For a season perspective, keep your eyes on the prize. Don't be satisfied with where you are now. Look to do bigger and better things. Look to win the A-10. Win a game in the A-10 tournament. Do what you did last year and then some. This is the start of it here because, as we've been kind of beating around the bush, Loyola Chicago, right now, this is not the Final Four team. The mystique is there. And I think everyone is aware that that's in the building. We mentioned Sister Jean, things like that. Mystique, a lot to be said. But if you're Fordham, remember who you are and remember who you're playing. That can make all the difference in the second half. I think that's part of the letdown here is that after a loss against a very talented VCU team, we all thought Fordham would come out and say to themselves, we still know who we are as a unit. With that being said, you'd expect them to slam Loyola Chicago, a team without a pure center. If you're Fordham, you have two guys that can legitimately play that center position, and I'd add Antrell Charlton is the best rebounder on the court. Given what he's done this season, given his wingspan, things like that, we all assume they'd come out strong. They have not done that. That's part of the letdown here. But remind yourselves what the goal is to re-immerse yourselves into this season and make that strong comeback. You haven't necessarily done it on the road. They've had great road wins. You look at LaSalle, you look at Davidson, but those were almost instances where you're playing up to your competition, right? This is a little bit different because Loyola Chicago is not as talented as Fordham, and you have to remind yourselves of that if you're Keith Ergo and this squad.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely when you look at the standings, when you see where Fordham is and where Loyola is, maybe that does get into your mind, where you're like, oh, we're so much better than them. I don't really need to go all out. But if anything, that first half was a wake up call. It's like, hey, listen, we're down by one. We need to pick it up and we need to play at the level that we know we can play at, because Fordham isn't 21-6 because they got lucky. They're 21-6 because they're a very good team. So all they need to do is just it's basically as you said, remember how they've played, remember who they are, and if they do that, they can easily win this game.
And it should be mentioned, that's not a bad thing. It's not as if Fordham's going in there and brushing Loyola Chicago off as if they're not a competitor to be reckoned with at all. It's just when you've had this good of a season, you want to carry yourselves with that type of confidence, as if to say you can handle anyone that's on the opposite end of the court. Someone I'm looking for to have a big second half, Will Richardson. Had the 21 points in the loss against VCU, but he's only attempted one shot so far in this game. He's played 10 minutes, does have a board and an assist. If he can get it going, start making some baskets, has that pretty mid-range jumper in his game, that changes the complexion of things as we wind down the clock.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I if I was Keith Ergo, I'm definitely talking to him, making sure that he's, he's doing good. But yeah, it's like you said, no points from someone who was the A-10 Rookie of the Week. You definitely expect a bit more from him, but I would expect that to change in the second half. I would definitely expect him to get more of the ball, maybe try more shots, because like you said, he's only had one shot and he hasn't scored a single point. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do that in the second half.
And that's a major credit to Will Richardson, in my estimation, that we actually expect something of the freshman. It's not often that a freshman comes into a program like Fordham and makes an immediate impact. He has a chance to do so in this second half. Mike, I'm not in the predictions business myself, but I'm going to put you on the spot, ask you to make one. What do you think Fordham's got in him in this second half upcoming?
I'm going to have faith in Ergo we trust. I'm going to say Fordham takes the win. I'm not... I don't know about a particular score, but I would expect them to play to the level that we can expect them to play, and I would say that they should be able to win this.
That is going to do it for the one-on-one halftime report. Once again, Fordham trails Loyola Chicago by a score of 36-35. Let's get you back out to Sam Davis and Ryan Gregware with the call from Chicago.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
What's up, everyone? I'm Julia Moss, one of the hosts of WFUV's women's sports podcast, All In. Join us each week as we break down everything from the WNBA, women's collegiate sports, the NWSL, and so much more. We're also joined by recurring hosts including Maddie Bamonte, Taylor Masetta, Sam Bohr, and Annabelle Watson. All In is a production of WFUV Sports.
It's 90.7 WFUV New York. Listener-supported public media from Fordham, the Jesuit University of New York. On air, online, and always commercial-free.
Welcome back to the campus of Loyola Chicago between Fordham and Loyola Chicago. Atlantic 10 basketball here on WFUV Sports. Sam Davis alongside Ryan Gregoire here. It's 36-35. Loyola up one over Fordham at the break here halfway through this one. And looking at some stats here from the first half, Darius Quisenberry leading all scorers with 12 points for Fordham. Fordham losing the rebounding battle 19-16. They shot 33% from the field in that first half. Meanwhile, Loyola shooting 50% in that first half. And Ryan, which stat stands out to you as to why this has been such a battle through 20 minutes here with Loyola Chicago?
Well, there are two stats, so I appreciate the question, but Fordham just being 4 for 14 from 2. That's a really telling area. When Fordham went on that run, it was a Deuce Simbila with 3 of those field goals inside, attacking at the alley-oop, going to the rack. That's how Fordham was successful in that first half. And defensively, things need to get a lot better for Fordham. You can't let Loyola Chicago, the team that we've talked about, 14th or 15th across the board in every major offensive category in the A10, shoot 50% from the field. It's not what Fordham basketball is. You need to make it ugly for them. Instead, they've made it ugly for Fordham. Fortunately, 9 for 11 from the free throw line, 6 threes in this game. That's stuff that you can't always rely on. The threes are not something you can rely on. The fouls are dependent on the whistle. What you can rely on is your defense, particularly guarding the 2, and it's something Fordham desperately needs to improve.
Just about a minute here before getting back underway in the second half, but rebounding was something that we expected Fordham to have the advantage in heading into this one. Loyola Chicago is last in the A10 in team rebounding. Fordham, meanwhile, is 5th, but Loyola Chicago has been able to have the advantage on the boards early on here in the first half. Another thing that Fordham will look to change here in half number 2 as they look to get the lead. And they got the lead in that first half, but something they didn't do is hold on to it. That's what they're going to look to do in here in half number 2.
Just on what you're talking about, Loyola's 298th in the country in offensive rebounds. They have 6 of those, many coming at second chance opportunities. This isn't characteristic Ramblers basketball, and it's not on Fordham's end of the floor. Very fortunate, Khalid Moore hit a big-time 3 right before half to cut it to a 1-point deficit. You feel it's pretty much even in the first half. Fordham has so much room for growth, and we'll see this last 20 minutes if they do just that.
Fordham was 6 for 16 from behind the arc in that first half. They're also 9 of 11 from the free throw line. They'll look to get back to the line more here in half number 2. As both teams huddle around their benches. And the buzzer sounds here at the end of the first half, at the end of the break here at halftime, getting ready for half number 2 between Fordham and Loyola Chicago. Between 4th and last in the Atlantic 10, but it's been a battle and it's been a hard-fought one for Fordham over the first 20 minutes of this one.
You would not be able to tell in that first 20 minutes who's 4th, who's going for double bye, and who's the bottom of this conference. A lot of that speaks to the depth from top to bottom, but at the same time, Fordham, if they take care of business, remember, Coach Ergo talked about Loyola's playing with house money. Fordham, you want to not let them play spoiler in this game.
It's going to be Loyola now moving left to right, with Fordham moving right to left, getting ready for some second half action here on the campus of Loyola Chicago. Will be Braden Norris inbounding on the near sideline. Passing it into Alston, who advances it over half court for Loyola. He surges towards the left block. Guarded by Moore. Spins in the paint, puts it up with the right hand. The fadeaway off back iron, rebounded by Nowitzki.
As good a defense as Khalid Moore could play right there. Olsen with 7 points in that first half, but his impact went beyond just the box score. He was all over the court making positive contributions.
Here's Richardson at the top of the key for Fordham. surging towards the basket. Now pulls out, now drives the lane once again. Jump stops, kicks it out. Quisenberry, top of the key. Quisenberry lobbing it to Nowitzki at the right elbow. Bounce pass underneath to a cutting Moore, who goes off the glass. The layup is good. Fordham regains the lead, 37-36, first minute, second half.
Defending the two, attacking the two. Exactly what Fordham didn't do in the first half. Doing it on back-to-back sequences right here to start the second half. Fitting it gives them the lead.
Quinn with a bounce pass to Norris at the top of the key. Passing into the near corner, Schweiger. Schweiger lobbing it to Golden at the right block, but a foul. It's going to go against Rostic Nowitzki. Working on Bryce Golden underneath the basket there.
Nowitzki, the foul trouble, it's always been a thing that's really hurt him throughout his time at Fordham. The Goldman right there gets great inside positioning. Nowitzki lost him in the air just a bit, something that Fordham didn't do a great job in the first half, and certainly not a great start as Sabile will have to come in.
Nowitzki will check out, like you mentioned. Foul trouble has been an issue with him over the course of the season. Had 4 fouls last time against VCU. Simbila with a strong first half will check back in for Fordham. Schweiger lobbing it into Alston at the right elbow. Holding it at his hip. Alston puts up the floater, and that one's good. 38-37, Loyola up 1, 18-55 first half.
Simbila inches away from blocking that one, but Alston rose to the occasion, just getting above the big man.
Richardson tries a straight-on 3 off back iron, and a foul going against Simbila on the offensive board. Abdou Simbila's second. 38-37, Loyola up 1, 18-45 second half.
Certainly from the foul department, not the start you want if you're Fordham. And the most important part, these are the two big men. You don't really have a trusted third option to come in if Nowitzki and Simbila getting legitimate foul troubles. They have to be more careful to pick up ticky-tacky fouls like that one.
Here's Norris in the far corner, guarded by Charlton. Bounce pass to Golden at the left elbow. Golden, guarded by Simbila. The hook shot. Off the back of the rim, no good. Rebounded by Simbila. Charlton the other way for Fordham. Handing it off Moore at the top of the key. Moore, hesitation move with the right hand, and he's fouled. Khalid Moore will head to the free throw line. And Ryan, we were a little worried about that hand there in the first half, but looking good here in the early stages of the second.
It looked just fine, and one bit of concern, taking 5 threes, that's not typically his game. You thought, okay, maybe he doesn't want to take it inside like he's accustomed to, but he did it right there. Looked comfortable going inside. It is a huge bonus for Fordham if that hand's all right.
The first free throw is off the back of the iron, no good. As the fans here make some noise, trying to distract Khalid Moore at the free throw line. It was 11 points in the game today. 4 of 7 from the field. Second free throw falls. Which makes it 38-38, 18-17 second half. Fordham opening up with some pressure here in the backcourt. Quinn has it. Advancing it over the timeline for Loyola. Here's Quinn at the top of the key, dribbling with the right. Looking to find Norris, now instead bounce pass to Alston at the left wing. He drives at the A10 logo at the free throw line. The jump shot, it falls for Philip Alston. 40-38, Loyola up 2.
He's up to 11 points in this game, but in this second half, he's been massive. Every time Fordham has answered, he's responded the other way.
Charlton off a high screen from Moore. Now it's Moore at the top of the key, lobbing it into the free throw line at Simbilo. Catches it, passing it back. Now it's Quisenberry at the right wing. Quisenberry passing Simbilo top of the key, right back to Quisenberry at the right wing. Quisenberry, jab step, drives at the right elbow, pivots, kicks it out. Charlton, fadeaway jumper at the left elbow. It falls. Antrell Charlton, 40-40, 17-20 first half.
If there's a player on Fordham who embraces taking a contested 2 at the end of a shot clock, it's Antrell Charlton. For many, that may look difficult, but trust me, it's something he practices all the time.
17 minutes, second half. We're tied at 40. Quinn driving towards the right block, kicks it out. Welch, top of the arc for 3 off the front of the rim. Simbila grabs the miss. Welch was wide open but couldn't get that 3 for Loyola. Charlton the other way, driving all the way to the lane with the left hand. The layup falls, 42-40. Fordham up 2, 16-45 second half.
After a goose egg first half, back-to-back possessions, Antrell Charlton with 4 quick points.
Schweiger the other way, goes up hard, but Simbila meets him at the rim. Charlton passing it ahead to Moore with the right hand off the back iron, no good. Both teams out and running. Alston back the other way. Behind the back dribble with the right hand off the glass. That one rolls in for Philip Alston. 42-42, 16-20 second half.
How about the handles on the big man right there to get by Quisbury, then to fight through Simbila's contact. What an impressive move both ways.
Charlton off a high screen for Moore. Now it's Moore at the top of the key. Bounce pass looking for Richardson, and it's stolen. Norris up ahead to Alston. And Moore comes in and blocks it, but he's fouled. Passing it up ahead to Alston. Looked like he had free reign for an easy dunk, but Khalid Moore with great defense, tracking him down and at least drawing the foul there, sending him to the line.
Watching that play unfold, it looked like there was a chance. Khalid Moore, prime snatch block opportunity. Alton didn't go all the way back right there, but nonetheless, Fordham will take it if he misses a free throw.
Alston at the line, 42-42, 16:05, second half. First free throw's off the side of the rim. 68% free throw shooter. Now has 13 points for Loyola Chicago, leading all scorers.
And Kyle Rose coming in for Will Richardson. Fordham wanting to play a bit more tight here. That's the right move. Is Kyle Rose on the defensive end, we don't want to bring, but offensively, a very composed player as well.
Second free throw also drops. So it's 43-42. Loyola back up one with now under 16 minutes in the second half. Charlton at the left wing, handing it off Quisenberry. Quisenberry trying to split the double team, goes to the ground. And a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of Fordham. To lead us to our first media timeout of the second half. 15:54 left here in half number 2. It's 43-42. Loyola Chicago up 1. This is Fordham Rams basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Will Grant.
And I'm Chris Persianen.
And we're two of the hosts for WFUV's very own basketball podcast, Pick and Pod.
Tune in weekly for updates and our takes on the latest around the NBA, as well as exclusive insight from our very own Knicks and Nets beat reporters.
We'll have you covered on everything from all of the NBA's latest drama we know and love,
to debating all year long which team will get to lift that golden Larry O'Brien in June.
So don't miss a beat from the hardwood on WFUV's Pick and Pod.
Welcome back to Loyola Chicago. Sam Davis and Ryan Gregory with WFUV Sports here. 43-42. The Ramblers leading the Fordham Rams by 1 here after the first media timeout of the second half. 15:54 left in half number 2. And it's been Philip Alston really turning it on for Loyola. Now with 14 points, he's proving why he's the leading scorer for this Ramblers team.
They've needed somebody step up with the energy that Fordham's brought. It's been Alston putting it on display all ends of the court. Great decision-making, passing it. We've seen the handles as well, and then finishing inside for Loyola. They fought every Fordham momentum shift here, and it's been Alston leading the way.
Khalid Moore with 12 points for Fordham, along with Darius Quisenberry with that 12. He's going to look to get hot here in the second half. At just 4 points, turned the ball over 6 times last game against VCU. It's been a couple of games in a row where he hasn't had the scoring numbers that he had in games past. A guy that Fordham really relies on offensively to do a lot for this Rams team.
And easy points is what he's so good at. Taking it inside, I should say effortless points, because when Fordham goes on a rut, you can always trust him to take it inside, flip one up, and get things going for Fordham. Both Quisenberry and Khalid Moore, they're up to 12 points this game. So they're doing their part. It's going to be a third tertiary score that's probably going to be the unsung hero on this one if the Rams want to pull it out, but it always starts with those two.
It's going to be Rose inbounding here on the near sideline right next to us. Looking to pass it in as the Rams moving right to left here. Surveying over his options. Now pass into the backcourt to Charlton, who brings it over the timeline. Pass it at the top of the key. Charlton, high screen Gray, now at the right wing. Driving towards the left elbow, kicks it out Quisenberry, straight on, triple, back iron. Rebounded there by Schweiger. Here's Quinn the other way for Loyola. Looking to build on their 1-point advantage. 43-42. Almost passes that one out of bounds. Norris tries to save it. Deflected away. Rose diving to the floor, passing it up ahead to Quisenberry, and the Rams have it. Quisenberry driving all the way to the basket. The hesitation move, and the layup is good. 44-43, the Rams go up 1.
Kyle Rose, he's a magnet for a loose ball. Always diving, seemingly always coming up, and then turning that defense into offense.
15 minutes in the second half here. Fordham up 1, 44-43. Here's Quinn at the left wing. High screen Welch. Steps back all alone from 3, no good. Moore grabs the miss. Charlton pushing it up ahead to Quisenberry. Passing it Charlton, top of the key. Here's Rose at the left wing for 3, off the side of the rim. Alston grabs the miss. Alston pushing it the other way. Here's Norris passing into the far corner. It's Schweiger all the way to the hoop, and he's fouled. Schweiger went up for another dunk, but was met at the rim and was hacked. He'll be at the free throw line, looking to give Loyola Chicago back the lead, 44-43. Fordham up 1, 14-38 second half.
You give credit to Drew Valentine and Loyola because they saw the scouting report on Fordham. When you want to score on them, you want it to be in transition. Similar to how Fordham likes to run their half-court offense, you're seeing Loyola, every Fordham miss, they're going to push it up the court, not let Fordham get set defensively, and it's led to a lot of success.
And Schweiger at the line, he has 6 points today, 2 of 8 from the field. First free throw takes a high bounce off the back rim and falls in. We're tied at 44.
Suddenly what looked like an advantage for Fordham free throw wise is pretty much evened out. Fordham 10 for 13, Loyola 8 for 11, and fitting that the score is also tied.
Schweiger. Second free throw is off the front of the rim, too short, rebounded by Kelly. Patrick Kelly checking into the game. It's Charlton, 44-44, 14-30 second half. Charlton dribbling at the left wing, crossover move. Now it's Gray at the top of the key. He tries a 3 off the front of the rim. Welch trying to grab the miss, saves it out of bounds. Here's Norris the other way for Loyola. Norris dribbling with the left, surging towards the basket, spins on Charlton, kicks it out. It's Wilson, passing it to Schweiger at the top of the key. Schweiger dribbling with the right, drives baseline. At the right block, puts up the wild runner, misses it, tries to get his own rebound, and a foul. It's going to be an over the back going against Schweiger, the freshman, who missed the floater there and then fouled Elijah Gray on the rebound.
Excellent physicality by Elijah Gray, not only getting that rebound, but holding it tight inside, and Fordham will absolutely take calls like that to get the fouls up.
Still 44-44. Under 14 minutes in the second half. Charlton walking it up for Fordham. At the top of the key. High screen Gray. Curling off it, passing in the far corner Rose. Now Kelly top of the perimeter. Now it's Quisenberry at the left wing. Behind the back dribble, almost loses his footing, but gets it back. Gray now passing to Charlton, but Schweiger got his hand in the passing lane, knocks it out of bounds. Fordham will keep possession, 8 seconds on the shot clock.
You see the buy-in for everyone from Fordham because Angelo Charlton instantly goes to Elijah Gray, a young player on this team who made that errant pass, tell them to relax, tell them to slow down. That's the leadership that guys like Charlton give you.
It was Charlton at the top of the perimeter, crossover dribble, steps into a mid-range jumper off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Kennedy. Still 44-44, 13-30 second half. Here's Kennedy at the right wing. Passing Schweiger top of the key. Now it's Wilson at the left arc. Wilson. 2 legs dribble, fires it to Schweiger underneath the basket, pivots, puts up the layup and gets it in. Loyola Chicago regains the lead, 46-44, 13-10 second half.
And Schweiger gave Pat Kelly no chance right there to defend him. Crafty move, making him jump in every direction and getting it up with ease.
Charlton dribbling with the right at the top of the key, lobs it to Gray. Gray handing it off Quisenberry, top of the arc. Quisenberry through the legs dribble, step back, 3, and he gets it to go. Darius Quisenberry from 3, 47-46. Fordham back up 1, 12:45 second half.
It didn't look like that was his first decision, but was left wide open on a great screen by Elijah Gray. He let it fly, and it gives Fordham the lead.
Here's Kennedy at the left wing for Loyola. Double team comes, he passes out of it. Norris straight on triple off the back iron. Kelly grabs the miss. Lobbing it up to Gray underneath the basket, the two-handed flush for Elijah Gray. 49-46, Fordham up 3, 12-20 second half.
Loyola in particular, Braden Norris wanted no part of contesting Gray there. The size wouldn't have gone his way, and if anything, would have just led to an and one.
Here's Norris looking to drive baseline, lobbing it into Welch underneath the basket. Bounce pass Kennedy at the right block, and a foul. Let's see who this one is against. As Khalid Moore will check into the game, it's going to be against DQ. his second foul. 49-46, Fordham up by 3, 12-11, second half.
Loyola seems to be a fan of stopping the clock right there because, again, Fordham getting on a good run, looking very comfortable running it up the court.
It's going to be Schweiger inbounding underneath his own basket on the baseline. And a foul off the ball here. This one going against Elijah Gray. And he will be subbed out now with that foul. It's his third as Rosik Nowitzki checks back in.
Talked about the potential problem if Abdou Simbila and Rosik Nowitzki got the foul trouble. Elijah Gray would be the one guy to relieve them, and now he's up to 3 fouls.
Here's Norris at the right wing. Swinging it to Quinn. Quinn drives towards the left block. Underneath the basket, passing it to Alston in the far corner. Alston drives baseline. Hangs and misses the layup. Rebounded by Nowitzki. Charlton lobbing it up ahead to Moore, who has it knocked away by Quinn. Saved there by Loyola Chicago. It's Norris who will push it back the other way for the Ramblers. Passing it to Schweiger. Hop step in the lane. Kicks it out Quinn. Quinn driving towards the basket. Passing it off Schweiger at the left block. Has it rejected by Nowitzki, but a foul is going to be called on the shot there, and that will lead us to another timeout. 11:41 remaining in the second half. Fordham up 49-46. Let's go back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Michael Hernandez.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Earlier today, Fordham's women's basketball team beat the University of Rhode Island in an overtime thriller at the Rose Hill Gym, with Anna DeWolf hitting a 3-point buzzer beater for a dramatic 74-73 win. Earlier today, there was a plethora of A-10 games, and at the top of the conference, Dayton defeated UMass in convincing fashion, winning 72-54. LaSalle fell to Duquesne by the score of 91-74, and Davidson also beat the St. Bonaventure Bonnies with a scoreline of 74-61. URI and George Washington played out in an overtime thriller, with the Colonials beating the Rams by a score of 89-80. In the national hoops, Houston, the number 1 ranked school in the country, is currently hosting Tulane. Houston's currently winning 48-29 with 17:05 left in the game. Alabama, the second-ranked team, is also in play today as they face off against South Carolina. The Crimson Tide are currently ahead 41-40 with 15:47 left in the second half. For your local New York sports teams, the Islanders beat the Winnipeg Jets 2-1. As for the NBA, both the Knicks and Nets will resume their season following the All-Star game on Friday with away games. The Knicks head to Chicago to face the Bulls, and for the Nets, they travel to the Capitol to face the Wizards. For the one-on-one scoreboard, this is Michael Hernandez.
Back and forth action here in Loyola Chicago. Fordham in the lead, 49-46, 11:41 remaining in the second half. The largest lead for Loyola Chicago is 5 points. The largest lead for Fordham was 3. It's been back and forth, and that's what the lead is right now for the Rams. We've seen it, Ryan, a number of times where Fordham has gotten out to a little bit of a lead, and then you think, okay, now maybe Fordham will start to pull away. They haven't been able to yet. What do they have to do now in order to try and pull away in this one?
Well, first off, what's remarkable with that stat is Loyola kept the lead for a 13-minute stretch in the first half. We're never really able to take it away, and it's been the same way for Fordham. Just when they get the momentum, they get things rocking, Loyola's been able to answer. If Fordham wants to do it, you look at threes, they've had 7 in this game. That's typically around what they average. I keep bringing up take it inside, but now you have Rosik Nowitzki with 4 fouls. Simbila's got multiple. Elijah Gray's got 3. It might be from the 3 ball. Darius Quisbury up to 17 in this game. Typically, when he's on, he's as hot as anybody. So if he can catch that microwave ability that he has shown he's done throughout this year, that could really help distance Fordham, and then you can play 50-50 ball from there on out.
Before that immediate timeout, Rosik Nowitzki called for that foul, like you mentioned, Ryan, his 4th. In foul trouble once again. Back-to-back games he's been sidelined with some foul trouble. As Welch misses the first free throw, it's too short off the front rim. Tom Welch at the line, the junior from Naperville North High School in Illinois. Was the Gatorade Boys Soccer Player of the Year there. So a dual sport athlete in high school. Second free throw also rims out. So 0 for 2 from the line for Welch, 49-46. Fordham maintaining their 3-point lead, 11:30 second half. Quisenberry top of the key. He takes a mid-range jumper at the right elbow, in and out. Simbila grabbing the miss, and he's fouled. Abdou Simbila with the offensive board. And he's able to draw some contact there.
That's why keeping him in the game and out of foul trouble was paramount for Fordham, because that possession looked as over as it could be, and Sabila rises over 4 defenders, snatches the ball for just a second. The foul goes Fordham's way, and they retain possession.
It's going to be Charlton inbounding underneath his own basket here. Looking to pass it in, lobs it into Moore at the right elbow. Moore, jab step, spins in the paint at the right block. Pump fake, goes up with the layup. Beautiful move from Khalid Moore. 51-46, 11-15, second half.
In complete control on that possession. The tight, quick spin move, the pump fake in the air, gets Olsen, and then he lays it up wide open under the basket.
It's going to be Quinn bringing it up for Loyola. Guarded by Quisenberry over the half-court line. At the Loyola logo here. High screen by Golden. Quinn surging to the lane with the left hand off the glass. The layup's good. 51-48. 10:45 second half. Loyola back within 3.
Quinn's shown a lot in this game, particularly the fearlessness to go inside, over him, do Sabila, fight through the contact and lay it in.
Sabila at the top of the key for Fordham. Handing off Moore at the left wing. Moore driving towards that right block, puts it up, and one. Count it. Khalid Moore. What a play. 53-48. Fordham up 5. 10:30 second half.
When he gets comfortable attacking the hole, watch out if you're the Ramblers. You've seen it these last few possessions, whether it's a post up inside or drive to the basket. Khalid Moore around that basket, so familiar with what to do with how to roll it in and getting the foul as well.
Khalid Moore just threw that one up. Looks like he didn't even have anywhere close to an angle to the rim, but got the layup to go, drew some contact. The free throw rolls out. 53-48. Fordham up 5, 10:25 second half. Quinn at the top of the key. Guarded by Quisenberry. Quinn at the left arc, drives baseline. Blocked by Simbila, sent to the seats. Another block for the big man.
You're not going to get Simbila twice on that move. Quinn went up the possession before, got it to go, but Simbila in perfect decision, waited just long enough to swat that one out of bounds.
10:15 second half. Fordham up 5, 53-48. It's going to be Schweiger inbounding underneath this basket, lobbing it into Golden, who has it at the top of the key, bounce pass Quinn. Quinn at the right arc, driving to the paint, bounce pass into travel. Jalen Quinn turns it over. Fordham will have it up 5.
After dazzling these last 2 possessions, Quinn twice in one sequence, so they reminded everyone he's a freshman out there. Khalid Moore sticking with him. He wasn't expecting it as he jumped in the air and retained the ball.
Under 10 minutes remaining in the second half. Fordham up 53-48. Charlton. Bounce pass to Moore at the top of the key. Thought about a 3, instead looks to drive at the right elbow. Double team comes and he's fouled. Khalid Moore with the maturity there, saw the double team but was able to pivot out of it and draw some contact.
That's how important his progression in this game has gone, because Loyola's forced to double with the way he's been able to attack inside. Now suddenly that foul ticker goes up and up and up, and Khalid Moore making impacts even when he's not scoring.
5 fouls for Loyola Chicago. Rose will inbound on the far sideline, passing it in to Quisenberry, hands it to Charlton at the top of the key. Charlton bounce pass Moore at the point. Holds it at his hip. Towards the right block, and he's fouled. That one coming on the floor. Khalid Moore drawing another foul.
No surprise to see, because if he is in that one-on-one like he was that possession, yeah, you're going to attack the basket every time, particularly how much it's worked in the second half.
Charlton will inbound for Fordham. As Fordham is inching towards that bonus already, lobbing it into Moore at the right block. Moore passing to the far corner, Quisenberry. Quisenberry skip pass looking for Charlton. Miscommunication. It's out of bounds off of his hand. A turnover for the Rams.
Charlton began the cut to the corner, but slipped back just a second before Quisenberry saw him. Quisenberry thought he was leading him right there. You brought it up, Sam. Miscommunication. Loyola has a chance to capitalize.
53-48. Fordham still up 5. 9:25 second half. Norris bounce pass to Golden at the top of the key. Golden pivoting, passing it Schweiger, lobbing it into the paint. It's Alston at the right block. Double team there, but a foul this time going against Fordham. A lot of whistles here in the second half as both teams guilty of a lot of fouls. And with that one, Loyola Chicago is already in the bonus. They're going to be at the free throw line. It'll be Alston.
Whistle's a big reason why neither team's been able to really build away here with a significant lead. It looked like Fordham's been up 5 for a while now. They would pull away. Now suddenly with Loyola in the bonus, momentum swings back in their favor.
Philip Alston with 14 points in this one. He's been impressive. Also 4 rebounds, 5-7 from the field, and 4 of 6 from the line. First free throw falls, 53-49.
What's perhaps most crucial is Alston had the first 7 points for Loyola in the second half, and that was in an area where Fordham was really pushing, had a ton of energy, but he was able to keep them in the game just long enough, let another run take over, which has been the story of this game for both teams.
Second free throws off, back iron, no good, so 1 of 2 from the line there for Alston. 53-49, Fordham up 4 with 9 minutes remaining in the second half. Richardson bounce past Charlton at the right wing, holding it over his head. Here's Rose at the top of the key. Rose hesitates, looks to drive, no. Brings it back out. Charlton, top of the perimeter, 5 in the shot clock. Spinning, finding Richardson. 1 in the shot clock. Richardson has to toss up a deep 3. It's off the side of the rim. Schweiger grabbing the rebound. Good defense there from Loyola Chicago. Trails by 4. Passing it into the near corner. It's knocked out of bounds off of Charlton. 8:38 second half.
Good aggressiveness there from Antrell Charlton. He's not going to let you get anything easy right there. He'll make even the most simple passes that seem like their basic outline passes difficult.
Schweiger inbounding in the near sideline, passing it into Golden now. Bounce pass to Norris, top of the perimeter. Norris at the left wing. Backing down Charlton. Passing it out Schweiger. Now Alston at the right wing. He's going to try a 3. Gets it to go. Philip Alston knocks it down, 53-52. Loyola Chicago now trailing by 1.
Rose was in Alston's face, but it didn't look like he was expecting him to pull it. With what we've seen from Alston, he can do it all in the court. You have to expect him to do what it is.
Here's Moore at the top of the point. Splits the lane, spins in the paint at the A10 logo. Now with the left hand off the glass, too strong. Norris grabbing the miss. Loyola Chicago looking to take the lead back. Firing to the far side of the court, Schweiger at the right wing. Schweiger lobs it into Golden, who's all alone, goes up with the right hand and gives Loyola Chicago the lead, 54-53, 7:45 second half.
This is looking a lot like early in that first half when Loyola went on that run. Miscommunications from Fordham, wide open Ramblers in the paint. Suddenly this game is shifted on its heels.
The crowd gets loud here as it's more at the top of the key for Fordham. Looking to silence them in the far corner. Moore, the double team comes, passing out of it, and the turnover right into the hands of Schweiger. Here's Norris, passing to the far corner underneath the basket, knocked away there from Kennedy, out of bounds off of Loyola Chicago. And that will lead us to another stoppage in play at 7:18 remaining in the second half. Loyola Chicago regains the lead. They're up 54-53 over the Fordham Rams. This is Fordham Rams basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, I'm Michael Calamari, reminding you to tune into New York's longest-running sports call-in show, One-on-One. Catch all the breaking sports news, hot takes, inside scoops from our beat reporters, and interviews with people around the world of sports. One-on-One airs every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on YouTube Live, and once again at night from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. on 90.7 FM. Want more One-on-One? Catch our Wednesday edition of the show, One-on-One nightly from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Twitter and YouTube Live. Join the conversation and tune in to One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show.
It's 54-53. Loyola Chicago up 1 over the Fordham Rams with 7:18 remaining in the second half. Fordham on upset watch here as over the last couple of minutes the crowd has gotten into it. Loyola's regained the lead and they're feeling all the momentum right now.
100%. The student section right behind us, I certainly can hear it, and I know they can feel it on the court right there. The energy has 100% shifted, and it's led Fordham another scoring drought. 3 minutes and 13 seconds of this one. This is about the third time in this game a 3+ minute scoring drought Fordham has went on. You can't keep making that up. Yes, it's a game of runs, but this game is too tight. You can't keep letting Loyola get back into this game when you have the momentum. Up 5 with the ball, had a chance to hit a 3, making an 8-point game, unable to capitalize. Now it's up to them to bounce back once again with good defense and turn it into offense.
Philip Alston averaging 14.5 points per game heading into today. He scored 18 points here in this one, still with 7 minutes and change left in the second half. He's been really impressive, not only attacking the rim, but also shown a little bit of a range, stepping out and able to hit a couple of threes for Loyola.
A big-time three, and anytime you score over Kyle Rose, you're a special player because that's as tough a defender as there is in this conference. Caught Kyle Rose off guard. Maybe he shouldn't have because Olsen's been everything for the Ramblers here tonight.
Both teams back out on the court here. Fordham on upset alert. Trailing by 1 to Loyola Chicago. 7:18 left in the game. With the foul coming in one end and Fordham now into the bonus, it's going to be Kyle Rose at the free throw line for a 1-and-1. Fans make some noise. The first free throw is good from Kyle Rose.
Kyle Rose, he's not going to be phased by anything. He's such a tough player. So to have him at the free throw line, 70%, to quiet this crowd down, huge for Fordham.
Second shot from Rose. That one goes as well. Silence in the crowd for a moment there. Fordham regaining the lead, 55-54, 7:18 second half.
A big fan of this substitution as well. Zach Riley comes to the game. Anytime you need a jolt of energy, he's your guy. It doesn't matter if he sat out the first 30 minutes, so we'll see what kind of impact he can make on the floor.
Kennedy has the ball for Loyola. Over half court, passing it to Norris. At the Loyola logo. Now at the left arc. Backing down Quisenberry, dribbling with the right. Here's Norris. Bounce pass Schweiger, top of the key. From beyond the arc, the three-pointer is off back iron. Golden tracks down the offensive rebound. And a foul is called there, a reach in. Going against Fordham. A second chance opportunity for Loyola. They'll be at the free throw line here, trailing by 1.
Very undisciplined play by Will Richardson, and a tough break for Fordham because they had 4 guys under the basket ready to push the basketball. The ball tipped just enough far back for Golden to come down with it. Aggressive defense of Fordham doesn't work in their favor that time.
Bryce Golden with 10 points here in this one. Averaging just 5.5 points per game. The first free throw rolls in and out. A lot of above average in terms of scoring games for Loyola in this one here today. As Golden will look to tie this one up with his second free throw, and he hits it.
Now, Sam, I think they're going to call the first free throw that Golden took. It didn't look like everyone was set. He kind of just chucked it up, so a big break for the Ramblers.
Big break there, you're right. It's a second free throw now here. That one's off the back of the rim. The ball is tipped out of bounds off of Loyola Chicago, so I guess the ball doesn't lie there. Still tied at 55, 6:55, second half.
The tale is old as time, Sam.
It's going to be Riley inbounding on the far sideline, passing it into Richardson. Freshman Will Richardson bounce pass some more at the extended right elbow. Now at the left wing. Crossover dribble, driving baseline. At the left block, double team comes and a jump ball. This one, possessions in favor of Loyola Chicago.
Fordham doesn't love that call. You don't see a scenario right there where the Ramblers got clear contact on the basketball. They brought a good double. They stifled Kalia Moore, but they get the call to go their way.
55-55, 6:40 second half. Alston driving baseline, hangs in the air, and he's fouled. Philip Alston will now go to the line. Shooting foul, he'll have 2 shots.
The blow-by ability from Alston right there, just creating an inch of separation from Kalia Moore, and you have to play catch-up. The foul will go against it 9 out of 10 times, and it did right there.
Philip Alston back at the line. He's done a great job drawing some contact all game long. The first free throw is off the side of the rim. He'll have one more. Loyola looking to get back that lead. 55-55, 6:37 second half.
Now the drought for Fordham and field goals inching up to 4 minutes. They're so fortunate to still be in this game because their offense at times has gone 0, and it has right now.
It's been certainly an up and down day for Fordham offensively. Like you said, Ryan, either all or nothing for the Rams. Right now it's nothing. Second free throw rattles around and falls, which gives Loyola Chicago back the lead. 56-55, 6:30 second half. Richardson has it for Fordham. Bounce pass to Moore. Moore at the left block, puts it up off the backboard, and a foul. A late call there going against Loyola Chicago. The fans certainly don't like that call. So send Fordham to the line. going to be Khalid Moore at the free throw line with Fordham looking to regain that lead. 56-55, they trail by 1.
Credit to Khalid Moore continuing to attack inside. His relentless pursuit at getting to the rack has been so important throughout this game.
The first free throw for Moore is up and in, which gives him 17 points on the day. Darius Quisenberry also with 17, but Will Richardson scoreless. The typical other contributors for Fordham have been held pretty quiet. Rostik Novitsky without a basket as well, as the second free throw is off the front of the rim, which means we're tied at 56. 6:20 second half. Norris walking it up for Loyola at the left wing, guarded by Quisenberry. Norris passing it to Kennedy, top of the key. Kennedy at the free throw line, takes the jump shot off the front of the rim, rebounded by Simbila. Under 6 minutes, second half. Quisenberry off a high screen, Simbila. He looks to drive all the way to the basket, off the glass, and one! Darius Quisenberry, what a basket. Fordham up 2, 58-56.
You don't score 2,000 career points in college basketball by accident. Certainly, Darius Quisenberry, a few minutes without a basket. He reminds you why he's that guy, taking it to the rack. 3 defenders all over him. He finishes and gets the foul.
Ryan, I feel like we've seen that about 2-3 times in this game. Quisenberry with a great job absorbing contact, able to just lay it high off the glass and get that roll to fall in. As he's at the line here for one more. And he gets a free throw also, a 3-point play for Fordham, 59-56. They're up 3, 5:54 second half. Here's Norris for Loyola. Holding it at the top of the key for the Ramblers. Norris, high screen, now at the right wing. Bounce pass to Schweiger. He's got an open 3, straight on, too short, rebounded by Quisenberry.
And with how back and forth this game has been, even with trading 1-and-1 free throw opportunities, you figure that one go in. Fordham catches a big break.
Quisenberry picks up his dribble, handing it off. Charlton swinging it here. Rip Moore underneath the basket. Driving baseline, and he's fouled. Bumped all the way into the seats there.
He's halfway out of the arena.
59-56, Fordham up 3, 5:23 second half. It's going to be Khalid Moore back at the free throw line.
That's been how this team in the second half has been able to respond to every Loyola attack. Whether it's Quisenberry, whether it's Khalid Moore, it's taking inside, getting the contact, and making it count at the free throw line.
Khalid Moore at the line, 17 points today. He's 3 for 7 from the charity stripe. First free throw falls, 60-56. Fordham up 4, 5:23 second half.
It seems like just a 2-possession game has been so hard to come by for the Rams. So to be up 4 in this environment with how back and forth it's been, it's huge for Fordham.
Feels like a massive lead for Fordham just with how close this game's been. As Moore will have his second shot from the line. That one's good as well. 61-56, Fordham's largest lead of the day. It's 5 points with 5:23 remaining in the second half. A 6-0 run for the Rams over the last minute. Here's Kennedy at the top of the key. Now at the right wing, passing underneath the basket at the right block. It's Alston. Double team comes against him. Rose trying to draw a tie-up, and he does. Possession arrow in favor of Fordham.
Fordham is not going to let Philip Alston beat them more than he already has, and the way to do that, you double him with Kyle Rose, bringing that help defense. He's so great when it's a big man down in the post, just snatching and coming in out of his line of vision, getting the ball that time, the jump ball, but it doesn't matter because the possession arrow went to the Rams.
Fordham with some swarming defense, and they're going to look to build on their lead, up 61-56, trying to pull away from Loyola Chicago, who's been putting up a very tough fight here on the road for Fordham. Under 5 minutes left in the game. Bounce pass Moore at the left elbow, handing it off Quisenberry, curling off a screen at the top of the key. Here's Quisenberry. Now at the right wing, handing it off Charlton. Here's Moore. Passing the near corner, Rose. Rose holding it over his head. Now at the left wing, 5 in the shot clock. Moore drives baseline, spins, the double team comes, and a travel. Good defense from Loyola Chicago. They're able to force a turnover and get it right back.
Well, I'll tell you, no surprise from the first 35 minutes of this game. Loyola's not going to let Fordham take more than a 2-possession lead. Great defense there. There was never a scenario where Fordham looked like they were going to get a shot until the very end, but Cleveland unfortunately took one extra step.
4:40 remaining second half. 61-56. Fordham up by 5. Here's Norris for Loyola. At the logo. dribbling with the left. Looking to find Alston. Still holds on to it now, passing it to Schweiger at the right wing. Schweiger, top of the key, spinning in the paint. And a foul will be called. Looked like could have been a travel, but instead it's a foul going against Fordham, which will send Schweiger to the free throw line.
It's similar to the extra step Khalid Moore just took. You thought Schweiger might get called with the same thing, but he doesn't, and now he has a chance to cut this to once again, Sam, a one-possession game.
61-56. Fordham up by 5. 4:20 remaining second half. Schweiger at the free throw line. He's got 9 points on the day. First free throw, he hits it. 61-57. He'll have one more. Jamero Wilson will check back into the game for Loyola. Fordham staying with their 5. It's Kyle Rose in addition to Abdu Simbula, Antrell Charlton, Khalid Moore, and Darius Quisenberry. Second free throw from Schweiger, also gets it in. 61-58, Fordham up by 3, 4:15 second half.
Antrell Charlton, why is he going to slow this one up? There's so much time in this game, no reason to push the tempo.
Charlton at the top of the key, passing it to Quisenberry at the left wing. High screen Simbula, Quisenberry trying to fight off of it and a foul. As Darius Quisenberry fell hard to the deck there. A lot of fouls here in the second half, both teams in that double bonus. So Darius Quisenberry will be at the line for 2 shots, and he's the guy that you want there. 7 for 8 from the charity stripe so far today.
One of his best abilities is body control, because when he hits the floor, he's able to always position himself to where it looks like the defender extended their body or went too hard going for the block. It's no different right there, fighting along the screen, hitting the floor, and getting the call to go as well.
Darius Quisenberry at the line for 2 shots. First one rattles out. 61-58. Fordham up by 3. 4:05 second half. One more shot here from DQ. Student section making some noise. Second shot is good. 62-58. Fordham up 4 as we approach under 4 minutes remaining in the game. Here's Norris over the timeline for Loyola. Guarded closely by Rose. At the left wing, it's Norris. Looking to back down Rose into the far corner, and this is a foul going against Kyle Rose. And with the stoppage, a little bit of skirmish here as the Fordham starters, and a shove there as well between both sides. As it originally looked like Fordham had an issue with the referees, but now both sides coming together as Fordham is brought to their bench. We'll see what comes out of that heading into our final media timeout. 3:51 left in the second half. 62-58. Fordham up by 4. Let's go back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Michael Hernandez.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Earlier today, Fordham's women's basketball team beat the University of Rhode Island in an overtime thriller, with Anna DeWolf hitting a 3-point buzzer beater for a dramatic 74-73 win, sending the historic Rose Hill Gym into raptures. Moving on to A10 men's basketball play, at the top end of the conference, Dayton defeated UMass in a convincing fashion, winning 72-54. LaSalle fell to Duquesne by the score of 91-74, while Davidson beat St. Bonaventure with a scoreline of 74-61. George Washington had to take it to overtime as they beat URI 89-80. Turning our attention to the teams in the top 25, number 1 ranked Houston hosts Tulane. Houston are currently thrashing Tulane 70-48 with 7:59 left in the game. Second-ranked Alabama are also in play as they are on the road as they face off against South Carolina. The Crimson Tide are currently on upset alert, with the game going back and forth with multiple lead changes. Alabama currently lead 54-51 with 7:17 left in the game. Earlier today, 6th-ranked Virginia was upset by Boston College, the Eagles shocking Virginia by the score of 63-48. Last but certainly not least, in just a few hours, the 2023 Formula One season kicks off with its preseason testing in Bahrain tomorrow that goes until Saturday. For the one-on-one scoreboard, this is Michael Hernandez.
Final 4 minutes from Loyola Chicago. Fordham up by 4, 62-58 over the Ramblers with 3:51 remaining in the second half. And right before that timeout, or right after that timeout, I should say, we saw tempers flare over on the Loyola sideline. A little bit of shoving going on. Fordham not happy with some of the calls, and that's what happens with a physical play, with such a back-and-forth game like you're seeing. obviously the tension's running a little bit high.
And Antro Charlton front and center. And this week he was on the Keith Ergo podcast. And one of the things they talked about was when he's on the floor, he's going to be so vocal. He's going to talk trash. It's something that makes him play better at basketball. You see it right there. There's no surprise. He's front and center of every scrimmage as he loves to be vocal.
Both teams back out onto the court, and a foul going against Fordham before that timeout, which means Loyola will be at the free throw line here. Trailing by 4. It's been a back-and-forth game. It's been a back-and-forth second half. Both teams have only led by 5 points at the most. It's going to be Braden Norris at the line. Just 2 points on the day. The first free throw off the side of the rim, no good. He's been held very quiet.
And Fordham's always done a good job guarding the team's best guard, so this isn't a surprise, but to see him struggle the way he has with just 2 points, it's a testament to this excellent Fordham defense.
Second free throw is good, which makes it 62-59, a one-possession game. Fordham up by 3. 3:50 second half. Charlton walking it up the court for Fordham. Dribbling with the right, at the point. Bounce pass Moore at the right elbow. Now at the left elbow, now goes to work in the right block underneath the basket. Steps out of bounds. Moore wanted a foul there, isn't going to get one. A turnover for the Rams. Loyola Chicago will have it.
If you're Fordham, you hold your breath every time you see Khalid Moore tiptoe that sideline. It looks like any time they blow the whistle, it could go for the foul. It could be on the baseline, and that time it goes against the Rams.
Fordham with some full court pressure here, passing it into Alston. Alston has it. Excuse me, that's Edwards for Loyola. Edwards over half court, bounce pass here to Norris. Norris holding it at his hip at the right wing. Golden swinging it to Schweiger, passing it underneath. Alston in the left block, misses the layup. Nowitzki grabs the board. Charlton the other way. 62-59, 3:10, second half. Fans making some noise here in Loyola Chicago. Quisenberry at the left arc, driving into the paint, now kicks it out, Rose, straight away, 3, air ball. Charlton trying to save it, but knocks it out of bounds off of Fordham. Loyola Chicago will have it trailing by 3.
That's as good as look you're going to get as well. Kyle Rose at the top of the key, uncontested right there, nothing on that basketball.
Edwards will bring it up and now hands it off to Norris for Loyola. 2:50 remaining in the game, 62-59. Fordham up by 3. Norris dribbling with the right. High screen Edwards. A bounce pass to Golden at the left wing. He looks to drive baseline and a foul. Another whistle there and more contact for Fordham, which will send, this time it's Bryce Golden to the free throw line with Loyola Chicago trailing by 3.
And I'm not sure the foul's on there, but every call crucial in this game. Ross Nowitzki with 4, Kyle Rose as well, so it's going to be pivotal that those two guys stay out of trouble.
Fordham has not had a field goal in over 3 minutes now. It's been a struggle for them offensively all game long. Hot and cold as Golden at the free throw line sinks the first free throw, which makes it 62-60. Fordham up 2:38 second half.
And on the other end, Sam, Loyola doesn't have field goal the last 5 minutes of this game, so defense has been Fordham's bread and butter all year, and it's taking over here in crunch time.
Golden at the line for one more. Second shot also rattles in. 1 point lead for Fordham, 62-61. 2:30 remaining in the game. Quisenberry at the top of the key. The double comes. Golden tries to knock it away, but in the process steps out of bounds on the near sideline, which means Fordham will keep it, and a lucky break there for the Rams.
Fordham holds their breath because for a second it looked like Loyola gets the ball. They have numbers. They're taking over this game. This roof's about to fall down, but Golden stepped out of bounds as he tipped the basketball.
Charlton inbounding on the near sideline, passing it into Richardson. Holds it at the top of the key. Here's Richardson. 2:20 remaining in the game. Fordham up 62-61. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Bounce pass Charlton at the left wing. Charlton, entry pass Nowitzki at the extended left block. Nowitzki going to work. Double team comes. Spins out of it with the left hand. The layup rolls in and out. Just missed it. Golden grabbing the rebound for Loyola. Under 2 minutes to play. 62-61. Fordham up 1, and a timeout is called by the Ramblers. Both sides will catch their breath in an intense final couple of minutes here from Loyola Chicago. 2:02 remaining, 62-61. Fordham in the lead by 1, not getting anything going offensively. The crowd has been loud. They've been in it, and they're willing, the Ramblers, to try and get the win here.
That Nowitzki play on the other end looked like it was good for Fordham. A great job of draining the whole shot clock. A nice pivot move from Nowitzki, get open under the basket. It rattled in and it rattled out just at the last second.
And that's a visitor's bounce there for Fordham, just missing that layup, like you mentioned, Ryan. And now Loyola Chicago will have a chance to take the lead here with just 2 minutes remaining in this second half. Fordham on the ropes, on the road. Had a couple of opportunities to try and pull away in this one, but credit the Ramblers and what they've been able to do all day long, the intensity, fighting back into these games and giving their team a chance to win here in the final couple of minutes.
I brought it up, Lord. I am so impressed by this team. I don't care that they're 3-11 and 15th in this conference. They have shown the ability to fight tooth and nail with Fordham throughout every minute of this game. Neither team has been able to pull away, but for Fordham to not be able to do it, it speaks to Loyola's toughness, their coaching, and their ability to stay in this one.
And Ryan, that's how it's just so tough to win in the Atlantic 10 on the road. It's been said a lot, but it's definitely worth emphasizing, because no matter who you're playing, no matter when, you're going to have a challenge, even for playing this team, Loyola Chicago's. Not a lot of wins on the year, just 3 in the conference, but really have been very, very impressive today.
Make no mistakes, Evan. This isn't a case of Fordham sleepwalking, coming and thinking they're going to come in here, take care of business, it's going to be easy peasy. No, Coach Ergo was talking up Loyola a ton this week, to the point where we were almost rolling our eyes with how much credit and how much praise he was giving them. But clearly there was something there. Loyola, multiple players with NCAA tournament experience, so they're made for moments like this.
62-61. Fordham up by 1. They've been hanging on to their lead for the last couple of minutes here, despite not scoring a basket in the last 2 minutes. With 2:02 remaining in the game. Both teams back out onto the court here. A lot to be decided for Fordham with a win, moving into 3rd place in the Atlantic 10. It's going to be Schweiger inbounding on the near sideline for Loyola. And we are ready to get back underway in the final 2 minutes, with Fordham up by 1. Schweiger passing it into Norris. Norris dribbling it over half court. Through the leg dribble, passing it Golden, top of the key. Golden passing to Schweiger at the left arc. Schweiger over the head. Now Norris straight on. He's got an open look for 3 off the front of the rim. No good. Moore grabs the rebound. Fordham will slow it down.
And if there was ever a break, it was that one. The guy who came with fear, leading all active NCAA players in three-point percentage with a wide-open look, unable to capitalize.
Quisenberry top of the key, 62-61, 1:30 remaining in the game. Fordham up 1. Handing it off, or faking the handoff to Charlton. Quisenberry still has it in the far corner. Passing it now to Charlton at the right wing. Charlton, crossover dribble, rises up at the free throw line, knocks down the mid-range jumper. What a basket from Antrell Charlton, 64-61. Fordham up 3, 1:10 remaining in the game. Here's Edwards at the right arc. He looks to drive baseline, steps back for 3. Yes! Sheldon Edwards ties the game with 1:03 left, 64-64. And this place is going nuts.
And this should come as no surprise. This has been the game back and forth from the opening tip-off to 39 minutes in. Neither team seemingly gets the edge in this one, just when it looks like Fordham and Antrell Charlton put this one away. The unsung hero in this one, Edwards, just 3 points going into that shot, drills it. Now we got a tie ball game.
Sheldon Edwards had just 5 points last game against Dayton. Just 3 points before that. Massive three-pointer there. A contested three-pointer as well. Stepping back behind the arc to tie the game, as the timeout is called on the floor for both teams to talk things over here. In the final minute, deadlocked at 64 apiece.
And Sam, this is why college basketball is the best, because you got a guy like Brandon Norris the other way, missing a 3, as we mentioned, leading all active NCAA players heading into the season. And then you got Edwards, an 18% three-point shooter on the year, drawing the biggest one of the biggest of moments in this game.
That's just a summary of this game, like you said, Ryan, when Fordham, after Antrell Charlton hit a huge mid-range jumper like he does in some of these biggest clutch moments of the year, to put Fordham up 3 and finally get a basket. Loyola Chicago just turns it around, quickly responds right away. And now Fordham will be tasked here in the final minute to get a basket and I'm sure waste some time off that clock as well.
If you're Fordham, you have to go with what worked in that 10-minute stretch in that second half. Whether it's Darius Quisbury or Khalid Moore, attacking the basket is what got them in this position. I know Antro Charlton just hit a very difficult shot, but you can't rely on that day in and day out. What you can trust is put the ball in your two best player hands and live with the result.
Both sides back out onto the court here for the final minute of action between Fordham and Loyola Chicago. Tied at 64. Fordham's going to have to go the length of the court here, moving right to left. It'll be Charlton inbounding on the baseline. He passes it into Richardson, who will walk it up. Under a minute to play here, tied at 64. Richardson at the top of the key, lobs it to Nowitzki at the point. Now it's Quisenberry straight on. At the point, steps back, takes a three, and he hits it! Darius Quisenberry for three. Fordham up three, 67-64. What a shot from the leader for the Rams.
Sam, just finished talking about unsung heroes in college basketball. How about your leader on and off the court, wanting the moment, embracing a challenge, drilling the biggest shot of the game?
Biggest shot in a long time for Fordham here on the road, silencing the crowd. It's Darius Quisenberry now with 24 points in the game. Another contested three there, stepping back from behind the arc and rising up and drilling it. Fordham up three, 48.1 seconds left in the game.
Now you have to have a short memory if you're Fordham. Fortunately, that's something with their veteran experience. They've done a good job of through this year, but remember, you were just in this spot 20 seconds ago, so you have to be composed. Do not let them get an open look from beyond the arc like Loyola's been doing.
Both teams back out onto the court here for the final 48 seconds. Loyola Chicago trailing by three with the basketball, 67-64. Schweiger will inbound underneath the basket here on the far baseline. The Ramblers looking to get an opportunity with 18 seconds separating the shot and game clock. Schweiger looking to pass it in, finds Edwards. Edwards will walk it up for the Ramblers. Over the half-court line, handing it off to Norris. Norris at the right wing, drives baseline. At the right block, now kicks it out to Edwards. Edwards, and a foul is called on the floor. It's going to go against Abdou Simbila, which will send the Ramblers to the free throw line. It's going to be Sheldon Edwards.
The Ramblers will take that one too because Fordham is playing great closeout defense right there. Simbila just a step behind Edwards, used his hands, got caught in the line of motion, and now Loyola has a chance to make this a one-point game.
Edwards at the line. First free throw falls. 67-65, Fordham up to 34.6 seconds remaining in the game. 30 seconds, obviously, on that shot clock, which means that the Ramblers will either have to foul or let all that clock run down to about 4 seconds. Second free throw from Edwards is also good. So 2 for 2 from the line from Sheldon Edwards, who's come up with a couple of massive buckets for the Ramblers in the final stretch of this one. 67-66, Fordham up one, 34.6 left in the game.
The starting lineup comes in for Fordham, but most importantly, the most offensive lineup that they have to display.
Charlton in the baseline, passing it into Richardson. Richardson bounce pass right back to Charlton. Quisenberry has it. He advances it over half court, and he's fouled. Darius Quisenberry drawing the foul, and that's the guy you want at the free throw line if you're Fordham. With 29.6 seconds remaining in the game. 67-66, Fordham up one.
Fordham on the inbound, running that football play with 4 spread out wide, just getting it up the court, and there's nobody to feel better about dribbling it up than Darius Quisenberry. Fortunately for him, he's able to get the foul before he steps out of bounds.
Quisenberry, an 84% free throw shooter. 8 for 10 from the line so far today. The first free throw, and he hits it. Darius Quisenberry hitting massive shots here for Fordham. They'll have one more free throw here, a big one. 68-66, Fordham up 2. Looking to go up 3 with 29.6 seconds remaining in the game. One more shot from Quisenberry. He spins the basketball at the line, bends his knees. The second free throw is also good. 69-66, Fordham up 3. Shot clock is off, 29 seconds remaining in the game. Norris will bring it up for Loyola. Over half court, passing it to Schweiger at the left wing. Schweiger at the top of the key. Passing it Golden. Left arc for three. Off the back of the rim. Fight for the rebound. Underneath the basket. Norris gets the offensive board. Golden swinging it to Norris in the near corner. Edwards for three. No good. Simbila grabs the miss. 5 seconds on the clock, and he's fouled. And Fordham surviving a couple of three-point attempts there from the Ramblers. 69-66, the Rams up three. Simbila at the line with 7.2 seconds remaining in the game.
I'll tell you what, Sam, those are looks you live with if you're Loyola Chicago. Not one, but two. Able to get the offensive rebound after the Golden miss, get another good look, and Fordham catches a bit of a break there. Abdou Simbila now, we mentioned it before, how he can shoot free throws for a big at 70%. None bigger on the season than these coming up.
Simbila at the line. 2 free throws he will have with 7 seconds remaining in the game. He dribbles the basketball on the floor, takes his time, takes a breath, puts up the first free throw, it rolls in. Huge shot for Fordham. They go up 4, 70-66. 7.2 seconds remaining. Coach Ergo will call a timeout. A couple of misses there from the Ramblers from behind the arc and a chance to tie the game. The second one from Sheldon Edwards, the guy who hit the three to tie the game earlier in the final minute. Had another good look, just couldn't get it to go. And credit Fordham fighting for that rebound and then drawing some contact, getting the foul.
Certainly a hold your breath moment right there. And with Simbila hitting the first, this opens up the game so much for Fordham. Coach Ergo had 2 timeouts at his disposal. It makes so much sense to use one out, get on the same page, talk about what happens if they make it. If not, do you foul? Up 4. There's so many decisions here. If you're Fordham, the most important thing is make sure you're on the same page.
Coach Ergo just talked to Simbila there on his own and really seemed to give him a lot of credit for hitting that free throw with the game on the line. Quisenberry hit a couple of big free throws as well. Darius Quisenberry hit a massive 3 that gave Fordham this lead. And they're now up 4, 70-66, 7.2 seconds remaining in the game.
And Simbila, when he got that rebound, there was a second or two that went off the clock before he got fouled. He could have passed it, but no, he wanted to embrace it. He wanted the moment.
Second free throw from Simbila. Puts the ball on the deck, spins it, now puts it up and hits it. 2 for 2 from the line for Abdou Simbila. Fordham 4 for 4 from the line in their last 2 possessions. 71-66, they're up by 5. Cross-court heave to Edwards. He catches it at the right wing, heaves up a 3, and he rattles it home. Sheldon Edwards knocks down another. Just when you think Loyola's out of the game, they climb back again. 71-69, Fordham up to 3.4 seconds remaining in this one.
Well, this makes you really fortunate that Abdou Simbila went 2 for 2 from the free throw, and that clock is Fordham's friend right now, but 3.4 in college basketball. The way this game is going, Sam, that's an eternity.
Sheldon Edwards took a deep 3 there from that right wing, hung in the air while he took it as well. A good contest from Quisenberry once again on that one. It seems like Edwards likes to hit it when he's got a hand in his face, as he missed the open one but hit 2 heavily contested 3s when Loyola needed it. Still trailing by 2, 71-69 as another timeout on the floor with 3.4 seconds remaining.
A good job from Quisenberry as well, because yes, there was heavy contest, but he did back off a smidge. He did not want there to be any contact, any thought of a potential foul right there on a 4-point play.
Final seconds in this one. It's been a thriller, back and forth action all day long as Fordham looks to survive on the road against the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. Leading by 2, 71-69. 3.5 seconds left. It's going to be Fordham looking to pass this one in, and the Ramblers will quickly foul after that.
Now you got to get to the point where the quick foul is the scenario, because you got to be very careful you get this ball in with no problems.
Charlton inbounding on the baseline for Fordham. They're coming out in that football formation once again. All 5 members of the Rams on the baseline. Now Rose has it, passing it into Charlton. Double team comes, he takes it, and will be fouled. 2.2 seconds remaining. About a second coming off the clock. Fordham up to a couple of more massive free throws here, 71-69.
And an invaluable second at that, because you look at the other way, Loyola Chicago has no timeouts. So if you take care of business here at the free throw line, you go 2 for 2, you make this 2-possession game, you back all the way off, you come out of here, out of Chicago with a W.
2 more free throws separating Fordham from a victory here on the road at Loyola Chicago. Charlton at the line. First free throw is off the back of the rim. Some life for the Ramblers. 71-69. Loyola Chicago trailing by 2. The second free throw from Antrell Charlton with 2.2 seconds remaining in the game. Looking to make this a 3-point game. Charlton dribbles it on the deck. Too short. Second free throw is no good as well. Edwards at the buzzer, and no good. Fordham survives. 71-69. The Rams defeat the Loyola Chicago Ramblers in a thriller.
Exhale time, Sam. Ooh, that one got close at the end. Charlton not doing Fordham any favors right there. I don't think Loyola Chicago even got that shot off. Fortunately for enough, regardless, they come out of Chicago. They escape with a huge, massive victory.
Ryan, if we're exhaling, I'm sure the Fordham bench is exhaling as well. Definitely one of the closest games that we've seen from Fordham all year long, and they up and out on the winner's side of it. 71-69, a 2-point win over Loyola Chicago. Surviving on the road here, a back-and-forth game from the start. Darius Quisenberry hit a huge three that gave Fordham the lead. The Rams hit a lot of their free throws, except for the last two there from Charlton, but they were able to survive and come out of here with a victory.
That was also a massive part about the no timeouts for Loyola Chicago. If they have timeouts there, they can, call it, draw something up right there, get a shot off at the very least, but they were unable to do so.
71-69. What a victory for the Fordham Rams, as we are going to be joined shortly here by Associate Head Coach Trey Woodall. And Trey with us now here. Trey, I'll let you catch your breath for a second.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
What a wild ending there. What do you think of the Fordham Rams' performance here today?
It was a tough, hard-fought victory. You got to give a lot of credit to Loyola. Coach Valentine does a hell of a job running this program. Those guys are never out of the fight, so we had to keep our guys dialed in for a full 40 minutes. I know Trell would love to hit both of those free throws to end the game. But we did enough to get by and get the W, but we'll go back to the film and figure it out.
What does it say about your group in a game where it was back and forth all the way? You never really pulled away, you never let them pull away, but at the end of the day, you escaped with a W.
Yeah, it speaks to the character and the culture of both programs. Like I said, neither team were out to fight. I thought Loyola did a great job, and Coach Valentine's rallying his troop when, Norris didn't have his best game, but they were still figuring out ways to create baskets, and they did a hell of a job of staying in it. But our guys just did a great job of finishing it out.
Darius Quisenberry with a massive 26 points, hit a huge three in the final minute there, and showing himself really as the leader from the beginning of the year with this Fordham team. What do you have to say from his performance today?
We are not surprised. We're not surprised at all. DQ did a great job of leading our program today to a victory. But, we want to play a full 40-minute game. I don't think we were our best today, but I think we did a better job in the second half. But, again, like I said, we'll go back to the film and figure it out.
Now, to take games like this in the A-10 on the road, it doesn't matter who you're playing. On the road, stuff to do. What does that say about your team? The fans breathing down their necks all throughout the game, and it didn't seem to bother them at all.
Yeah, well, our credit to our guys, we practice hard. I think we had one of our best practices of the year, our last practice yesterday. So for those guys to be rewarded with a victory is great. But again, it just talked about, speaks about our road attitude. We taught our guys, every single day about our road attitude. It doesn't matter if you're making and missing shots. No matter if the crowd's against you or not. You got to have a road attitude and you got to figure out how to compete at a high level. And tonight we were able to, and finishing out with a W.
Associate Head Coach Trey Woodall. Trey, thanks so much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
the time.
Congrats, Coach.
Yep.
A big win there for Fordham, 71-69 on the road against Loyola Chicago. And the crowd filing out here, but they brought a ton of energy in this one. The Ramblers brought a ton of energy in this one. Back and forth game from the start. No team in the entire game led by more than 5 points. It was just that kind of game. Fordham went up with a big three from Darius Quisenberry in the final minutes, hit some free throws, and escaped with a victory today.
You keep it moving if you're Fordham. You're at the point of the year. You're fighting for something this program has never done. And regardless this season, already at 21 wins going into this game, it felt like a success, but nobody wants to say that around this team because they have expectations that are higher than even, the most Fordham faithful of us could have ever believed. So to escape here with the win, 10 wins in the A10, you're now third in the A10, seemingly in control of your own destiny for a double bye. It speaks so much of the culture that Keith Ergo has built.
You mentioned third in the A10, 10-5 on the season in the conference, and now 22-6 on the year for the Fordham Rams. They will return to the Rose Hill Gym to take on URI Saturday at 2:30 p.m., a special ceremony as well to honor the 1970-71 Fordham basketball team taking place before that one. Check out all the action on WFUV Sports. But a final score from Loyola Chicago. It's Fordham 71 and the Loyola Chicago Ramblers 69. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one post-game report with Colin Loughran.
It's 90.7 WFUV New York, listener-supported public media from Fordham, the Jesuit University of New York. On air, online, and always commercial-free.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Welcome to the one-on-one post-game report. The Fordham Rams defeat the Loyola Ramblers by a final score of 71-69. Along with Michael Hernandez, I'm Colin Loughran, here to recap all of the action. Whew, this one came down to the wire, but Fordham hung on to win it. It was tied with just under a minute to play and was a tale of two halves for Darius Quisenberry. After a decent first half, the Ohio native turned on the Jets and delivered a second act worth remembering, including a huge three to give them an initial 3-point lead late in the second half. All told, he posted a game-high 26 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Loyola Chicago got a huge second-half boost from Philip Alston. He tallied a team-high 19 points along with four boards, but it was not enough to deal with Fordham on this given occasion. The win gives the Rams a 10-5 conference record. Mike, I have to give credit where credit is due. The play of DQ helped Fordham grab this W in a second half where he was far more efficient. 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from downtown. Exactly what I was looking for when we looked at it at halftime. What did you make of the W?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when it's a close game like that, I was definitely nervous. But, seeing the Rams and seeing them get the win like that, it definitely will help their morale, especially after coming off of that VCU loss. So getting a win, regardless of what type it was, a win is a win. So hopefully this will set them back on winning ways. But it's just like you said, it was exactly a tale of two halves for Fordham, and I went down out of the better shot selection, if you ask me. In the second half, they were 11 for 22, and then 2 from 8 from 3. They were able to make those threes, especially when it mattered, especially in that last minute, like you said. But yeah, it was definitely a close one. But yeah, I mean, if you can win a game like this, it definitely speaks volumes about the type of team that you are.
When DQ is efficient, so is Fordham.
Yep.
Also have to give major credit to Khalid Moore. He posted 19 points on a 6 of 11 day from the field, including 2 made threes with 6 rebounds and 6 turnovers, which did not help Fordham. But that's one of those situations where it reminds me of the DQ play in the first half where it's a little bit of everything going on. It was a tale of two halves, as we mentioned. He cut down those turnovers in the second half, not as many as there was in that first half. Overall, you like what Fordham was able to do long-term in this game in that they won the game. Mm-hmm. It should never have been this close.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course. I mean, if you took a look at the stats before, Fordham should have won this by a lot more. I mean, if you take a look at Richardson, he had 0 points the entire game. So, you kind of expect a bit more. I mean, he's a freshman, I'll give him that. But, when you come off of a Rookie of the Week nomination and then you kind of do that, it is a bit worrying. But, I'm sure he'll bounce back in the next game. But one thing that Fordham did well in the second half is that they out-rebounded Loyola.
Which was important.
It was, yeah, because we spoke about that during the halftime show. In the second half, Fordham had 18 total rebounds compared to Loyola's 15. Overall in the game, they had the same amount of 34, but the fact that in the second half they were able to grab those critical rebounds, overall it did make the difference.
This was a game that you needed to win for multiple reasons. As Ryan and Sam alluded to at the end of their broadcast, Fordham has bigger aspirations than just hanging around in the A10.
Yeah.
With that being said, you have to take care of the bottom feeders of your conference, and this particular year, Loyola Chicago falls into that category. They are not a top threat in the A10. This was a game you had to win, especially coming off of a devastating 81-60 loss against VCU. For morale purposes alone, crucial.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's all about the mentality. If you come off of a loss like that and then you have another loss, if Fordham had lost this one, it would be horrible for the team because the morale, you lose a close one that you had in your grasp and then you let slip through your fingers. But the fact that Fordham were able to get the win shows that that they were able to go on the road, which is no easy task in basketball, and get that critical win. Hopefully this puts them back on track, and I can't wait for their game on Saturday.
Not to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to have to do it just to be the objective journalist I strive to be. Are you worried about the fast start that Loyola Chicago had today? In that when Fordham went to a road environment that they weren't familiar with, the defense took a snooze to start the game.
Yeah, I mean, it is slightly worrying when Fordham...
And I want to just interject here. It wasn't dreadful. It wasn't the worst thing I had ever seen in my life, but it was as if there wasn't that same intensity. Now, Loyola Chicago, for better or for worse, a quicker team, does not have a pure big that might have played into this equation where they're able to move around the court at a quicker pace. But if you're Fordham, that's something you have to kind of monitor as things go along. And I felt at the beginning of the game they were just a step slower than the Ramblers. A little bit concerning, but I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, of course it is concerning when, at the start of the game, you do fall behind like that. But, although that was bad, the way that they finished was critical. The way that they turned it on in the second half and the way that they were able to perform under that pressure at the end of the game, I think speaks volumes. I mean, obviously, at the start, you definitely didn't want to start off that way, but it's always about how you finish. And at the end of the day, they got the win.
Always about how you finish. Darius Quisenberry, the 26-point hero tonight. Once again, your final score is Fordham 71, Loyola Chicago 69. That will do it for us here on the one-on-one post-game report. Fordham men's hoops will be back in action this Saturday, February 25th, when they host the Rhode Island Rams in the Bronx. Be sure to tune in to 90.7 WFUV for full coverage. Tip-off slated for 2:30 on game day. The sports director of WFUV is Bobby Chaffardini. The in-studio producer was Andrew Canary. The supervising producer was Mike Calamari. Michael Hernandez took care of all the updates, and James Shanahan worked on highlights. A huge thank you to Joe DeBerry and all of his staff for their help this week. For Sam Davis and Ryan Gregoire, I'm Colin Lochran saying have a great night. Fordham Rams basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.